Throw Gang, we are joined by the Titan of the Take, the journalism general, the Filipino pharaoh. You got no host, he got co-hosts. He must have been raised by a urologist because the stream's going crazy. You Reggie, he Regis. You drop feces, he dropped feces. The king of Cambridge, he said Potter, go to the Ivy League. He doesn't fuck around, but he will find out. How you say broken Tagalog, Mino Pablo? Pablo Sison, more like Pablo got that shit on. Oh, you're not fuck with Pablo Sison? How about you Pablo sit on these nuts? All this flexing got his arm strong, so he stay around the horn. You bozo, he adobo. The facts are squared, but the table round. He's sitting with thought leaders, call him the Pinoy Pip. Never been to Neverland, but when he's on mic, he be busting. You can't jack his shit because he a master debater. Call him Greg Louganis because his deep dives hit it on the head. He go in bestiality mode, how he's in all these rabbit holes. Sports writer, podcaster, TV host, Pablo Torre. Pablo, how the hell are you?
It really does feel as good as everybody says.
Yeah? You need a cigarette?
Oh my God.
Tighter than a rabbit hole, baby.
I live trying to figure out where are the puns that I could make for my own personal branding. And you somehow found like 25 of them I hadn't considered.
Yeah, dude. He digs deep.
You ever heard of Master Debater?
Yeah, a classic.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming down from the throne and joining us peons in the trenches.
Look,
but as a fellow podcaster.
As a fellow person of truly, I think, confusing ethnic origin.
That too.
You talking to him?
Yeah.
To both of you guys.
I'm white. In case anyone didn't know.
The Uber driver on the way here started talking to me in Spanish because he makes some inferences based on just the name. And
Pablito.
And so I just got Dan Lebitard's father, Papi, used to do this also. He would just assume I'm Hispanic. And I would have to break out my like 5 sentences and then tap out.
Yeah.
Your stock phrases.
Yeah. Sí.
Hola.
Pero do you get a lot of what are you?
Yeah. Oh, my favorite Twitter response or just like mention is who is this Chinese guy with the Mexican name?
Damn, they fucking read your ass, dude.
It's like, that's just a Filipino guy.
It's like you have reverse engineered colonialism.
Yeah. Just every Filipino guy ever.
You figured it out.
Wait, was that someone just watching you on TV and was like, I need to get to the bottom of this?
There was literally a Yahoo Answers about this at one point.
God damn, dude. Okay, well, we're not going to ask what you are because we know.
Yeah, race check, done.
Yeah. Let's get into a quick fit check. Pablo, what did you wear to come on the only podcast that matters besides Pablo Torre Finds Out?
Yes. Starting from the top down.
We don't really do that anymore, but that would be the wrong answer.
Yeah. Starting from the bottom up.
Bing, bing, bing.
Yes. Okay. So New Balance RC30s that I'm going to wear a lot of stuff today, you'll discover.
Okay.
That are made in part by people who are of Asian extraction. It turns out I was pondering this in the Uber ride on the way here. And I was like, okay. So my Filipino friend, Leonard, a.k.a. Buttery Pat, a.k.a. Unky Leroy.
Okay.
He designed these with our buddy Donald Glover for his collab, the New Balances. The aforementioned Regis High School is the source of my socks.
Oh, wait. They're not from your high school years, are they?
They are.
Oh, wow.
How many holes are in those bad boys?
Look at the bottom of it.
Oh, Pablo, come on, bro. You're making too much money.
Come on.
To wear the left sock on your right foot.
Do we want to paywall that just for the premium content?
Meadowlark Media, what are we doing?
Damn, dude. You do realize there's an L for left, and that's your right foot.
Is that what that...
There is an L for left.
It seems I've taken a number of
there's
already.
a few L's on that sock, honestly.
First of many today.
That would explain some things. And then...
do you have a lot of clothes left over from your high school years of 20 some odd years ago?
Yes.
Vintage.
Regis High School vintage bookstore, dead stock. Yeah.
OG merch.
Yeah.
Shout out to Andre Anselm, the librarian, who would also be the history teacher.
But Regis was a uniform. You had to wear a uniform to school, right?
No. So it was, the uniform was collared shirt and slacks.
Okay.
Which gave, I think, a young man just enough room to be stressed about what they were doing that
college
morning.
you were going to? Or just any college?
Collared.
Oh, collared. I thought you said college. Excuse me.
That'd be very funny, though, if it was like...
Sorry, bro. You're speaking Chinese, dude. I can't fucking...
Wow.
I kid. Okay, collared shirt.
Yes, a collared shirt and slacks. And then, so inside of that, you got the whole universe of polos, button downs, some kids who were going Alex P. Keaton, and some people who just wanted to wear these socks for the next 30 years.
There you go.
Yep.
Different strokes for different folks.
Damn, bro. Get some new socks.
Yeah, please.
If you come away from this podcast with anything, it's buy some new socks. Please.
Yeah. Or send me some new socks.
Yes.
From the Regis High School
There we go.
library.
Honestly, whoever is running a sock division of an apparel brand, put Pablo on flow team.
Yeah, we need sock seating.
He needs it.
Yeah.
I really do. If it's still Andre Anselm, who is hopefully still alive, I want those socks.
Was he an old guy when you were there?
Yeah. He was
Odds are
The bookkeeper.
he had good skin though.
Oh,
So,
fingers crossed. Shout out Andre.
fingers crossed.
Wherever you
are
are.
you wearing Regis corduroys?
I'm wearing Uniqlo
Okay,
corduroys.
nice.
Also Asian extraction.
That's right. The t-shirt underneath. So my friend Andrew Kuo
Yeah.
shout out
designs
Andrew.
these bootlegs. And so this is a New York Knicks championship 2015, 2016 shirt.
Okay.
So I just like to imagine an alternate dimension where
Sure.
they didn't win 30 games and
Right.
instead Jimmer Fredette and
Yeah.
Kyle O'Quinn and Kristaps Porzingis.
We got Mello on there.
Yeah. It's a fun game of like, do you remember these faces?
We got one of the Lopez brothers down there.
Yep.
I remember the faces, not necessarily the names. Like this dude, two to Melo's left, one over to the left.
This guy?
Who's that?
I think that's Kyle O'Quinn.
There you go.
All right.
Who's next to him? Let's talk about the show right now. No, on the other side.
Oh.
That's Kristaps.
Yeah, that's Kristaps. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay. A veritable who's who of would be NBA champions.
A literal
who's who of-
who's that of NBA players.
Who's that guy?
Shout out Andrew Quill. That's a great, you're right. Beautiful alternate timeline that, whoever's on that timeline, I hope things are going better for you than they are for us.
Right. I abandoned Knicks fandom after Jeremy Lin was summarily banished. Yeah.
Who you just did a talk with at All-Star.
Yes, in front of Yao Ming. So
He looks gigantic. And why did they put him in the front row? He's blocking so many people.
I don't know. Look, I've hung out with a lot of 7-footers in the course of doing my job.
Big fucking flex alert.
Literally.
And Yao is architecturally just a different person.
Yeah. Moves pretty good for a big man. Let me tell you, the Linsanity highlight reel still fucking hits at the afters.
It's so when I say that my happiest moment as a sports fan is also my most journalistically conflicted, I was covering Linsanity for Sports Illustrated, all that shit. And when I was there for 38 at the Garden. And when I tell you that my body did things that the Columbia Journalism School would never have permitted, it was obscenely visceral, that reaction. It's the most fun I've ever had watching sports was that game.
So you couldn't cover it from an unbiased journalistic perspective, no matter how hard you tried, is what you're saying?
I like to think that my journalistic kegels were strong enough.
That's a phrase no one has ever said ever until now.
I had been practicing discipline, muscular discipline, but it's impossible. Like that. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Jeremy Lin for this entire podcast, although I could. But that highlight reel, for people who don't remember,
Still hits.
it's just the most cinematically fun shit for anybody, Asian or not, who grew up a Knick fan.
It was Linsane.
Do you think
And you're
Asians are
saying-
coming for the NBA the way that Europeans have dominated it?
quietly. So
Yeah.
again, so James, you're a case study in this. Like there are people who are. I don't want to reverse engineer your DNA,
Let's do it.
but when I tell you that Jalen Green's Filipino,
Right.
I mean Jordan Clarkson's been out here for a long time.
Absolutely.
But on a part Asian basis,
Yeah.
we're everywhere.
Yeah.
And the only question,
Shout out that wide receiver on the Steelers. What was his name?
Hines Ward?
Hines Ward.
Yes. So for me, like
Sean Lee on the Dallas Cowboys. He was white though, just named Lee.
For me, I used to be able to. I could tell you everybody. I had the Professor X cerebro of part Asian.
Hell yeah.
And now there are just so many that it's hard to keep track. Which
So you're actually the guy being like, "What are you?" to the part Asians
I
Are
am
you
the
with
one.
me or against me?
I'm measuring skulls.
with your
I'm-
forceps.
Yeah, phrenology,
I'm
dude.
quietly swabbing people's DNA.
23andMe is named after Jordan.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're just only doing a podcast to get DNA off the mics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
I'm
see, again, who's on the good guys versus the bad guys.
Yeah, the racial purity tests.
Yeah. What's
I'm all about that. Turns
what's
out.
this in between garment
Mm.
that's on top of the alternate timeline Knicks tee?
That's right. So this is this was more Asian, and it had one of those things where it was like.
Oh, an obi.
Like a Naragi.
Yes.
I only know it's called an obi because it's always a clue in the New York Times crossword puzzle.
Somehow the most Asian part of that sentence was the last part.
Yeah.
So I took that off, but it's a cardigan from a Pig and Rooster, I believe,
Pig and rooster.
which I think is I got it in Japan.
Mm.
But I took off the parts that I think are identifying in any way.
You colonized the cardigan.
You
That's
gentrified
right.
it. Yeah.
Gentrified it, excuse me.
I did.
Okay. Looks great either way. It must be a nice warm mid layer.
It's a wonderful mid layer. Thank you for asking. And then the top. This is a. So I had to Google a YouTube video of how to say the name of the manufacturer.
Okay.
But I bought it on Broome Street at their store, which I don't think exists anymore. But it's Sage de Cray,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which
They're
is
still-
Japanese.
I don't know if there's. I think the brand is still around. I don't know if the store's still there.
Yeah.
But I wandered into that. So I used to live in Greenwich Village.
It's a good brand.
So all I would do is get lightly stoned and like wander into various establishments. And
Decray.
And what do you do now?
I
Get really stoned and go on TV shows?
Yes. We'll talk about it.
more or less correct. But yeah, and this is a sort of like their Japanese
good, yeah.
workwear,
Nice
French
utilitarian
thing.
workwear.
Utilitarian. Lots of so many pockets.
Oh,
to store
yeah.
things.
Tell you know it's good.
Speaking of pockets, you got a lot on this beautiful jacket you wore. I think I can guess.
You guys can identify based on what I've conspicuously
Removed.
removed.
He went badge off.
I did.
Do you normally go badge off on the stone?
I have, but now I lost it and I regret it. So the resale value is very low.
Yeah.
Right.
But Stone Island, it has a lining, like an inner, as they often do. They have an inner lining that makes it warm. I wear that all winter. I don't have to do a parka thing.
You can buy probably badge Lucy's on like eBay, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Just like with a like a lot of high-end watches, you can just buy the box.
I like the idea that, like, in the way that you can go to a bodega and buy like the
$19 on eBay right now.
Yeah, it's fake for
exactly.
sure. Yeah, exactly. You can walk into a bodega in Brooklyn and buy a Stone Island badge.
That's right.
Yeah, they got everything. It's probably what you got to do is, from my experience, is you take the badge off and then you put it somewhere in an interior pocket so that it stays with the garment and you don't have this problem.
Yes.
Just as a little, tip for the
FYI,
folks
if you're
at
next
home.
stone.
Yeah.
I was going to accuse my daughter of stealing it. Who was
What was she
a
going to do with it?
5-year-old. I don't- She
Arts
has
and crafts
expensive
time.
taste, man.
Yeah.
Clearly.
City kid.
Yeah. Panties?
Panty. What? I was going to ask about jewelry. Any
Oh.
jewels? Besides
Just,
the ring?
just this
Just the ball and chain.
This Tiffany ball and chain.
Ooh, okay. Fancy boy.
Which I learned you can get clean for free there.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Until my wife informed me that you can also just like buy on Amazon.com
The-
like
right.
the thing, which is
the cleaner.
Good
Yeah.
tip for
A lot of good tips today.
everyone, for no one listening that has a Tiffany wedding ring at home.
Yeah.
What are the panties? Are the panties also 25 years old from your high school?
they are Uniqlo
Okay.
and they're about 10. So
10 years.
Yeah, I got to cycle them out.
Yeah. Bro.
How? So this is this.
Are they not worn in? Like at the
This
at
brings
the
up a question.
contact points?
How often do you guys change out your panties?
More often than 10 years.
Hmm,
You know when you know.
yeah.
My shit is, so I wear cheap Hanes boxers, so the elastic kind of gets like stretched out in the wash, whatever, and then I just cop another 12 pack.
Right. I think I just bought so many Uniqlo pairs of underwear that maybe they haven't been worn as much as if I had bought fewer.
Right.
Also,
Your bench is deep.
counterpoint, you've seen my socks.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
disgusting.
So
Thank
No,
you
I
again
hope,
for that.
I hope you wear your underwear the right way, unlike your socks. You're like,
It's got a little flap on the butt like some child's pajamas.
look, I have
is there a breeze in here? I'm feeling some wind in my
I
asshole.
have the Uniqlo Union suit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just unbutton the
back
flap.
door, baby, yeah.
That's right.
All right. And you're sipping on a bottle Poland Spring. I believe that concludes today's fit check and drink checks.
Mhm.
Let's get into the meat and potatoes of throwing fits. Pablo Torre. Are you related any relation to Joe Torre?
No, but I have been asked that.
Another
a lot.
Brooklyn boy or
So-
city boy?
So what I did though was I was an altar server.
Okay.
So again, Catholic socks. Other jokes I could make about how the socks look my mom I don't want to.
Yeah.
She still reads at mass. I don't want to make.
Oh.
And
further
the
jokes.
hole in the back of the underwear?
Yep,
we can
exactly.
go there. We
Yep,
can go there.
yep,
buddy.
we were all circling it.
Hey, hey, Pope, if you're listening,
Hey, Pope.
get up, King.
Yo, Pope, if you're listening. The Pope does listen to the show, as
Yeah.
does your mom. So, we
Yeah.
want to keep it kosher.
Pope Gang is
Yeah.
is strong. But I was an altar server at our local parish, and the priest was the team chaplain for the New York Yankees.
Oh,
Sick.
shit.
and so
That's fire.
That's how you know he's good.
So I didn't.
And that
have-
must have been during the 90s.
Yeah.
right?
Oh no. At a time when it was the best.
Yeah.
When God was on the side of the New York Yankees.
Clearly. And so for me, like I remember getting I got a spring training program autographed by Derek Jeter, who in the inscription said to Pablo Torre. He had misspelled just one R, misspelled my name. To which I was like, your literal boss has the same name. Who have you ever met with the last name of
Joe Pablo?
T-O-R-E?
Yeah. Real quick, speaking of names, have you ever reached out or spoken with the soccer budding star Pablo Torre?
Oh, so this is an episode that we've been working on.
Yeah, I mean, when you Google Pablo Torre, he comes up first.
Well, more than that, when you have various social media accounts and people are both confusing me for a 18 or 19-year-old Spanish kid, or they're blaming me for trying to pretend to be him. I have a verified badge, and he apparently, I guess, did not at the time.
You also have an S in there to
also have an S.
Hopefully avoid any confusion, but
he's really fucked up the SEO for me and my various programs.
But you've never parlayed with Pablo.
We are actively attempting.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole searching for Pablo Torre episode that I'm working on because there are many questions I want to know the answer to with him. I want to find out about. Does he know of me in the way that I know of him?
I'm going to say
how old is he?
You can double check. But he's
20s?
I think 20 years old.
Are you on
max.
TikTok?
We have my show. So this is an old person
like
thing. My show
shit?
has an account that clips our stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the show. So you have a podcast called Pablo Torre Finds Out. What's the craziest shit you found out so far?
So many candidates to this question, I'm proud to say. But we found the tape that the Knicks made when they were recruiting LeBron James to be a Knick.
Yeah.
In the summer of the decision.
Yeah.
And so if you are even vaguely familiar with that story or just The Sopranos, it was one of the last, it was a bar mitzvah video that James Dolan made to recruit LeBron James to the Knicks.
Was his band playing in the background?
So the straight shot was not there, but the number of people on the roster, the Avengers he assembled of James Dolan friends, when I got this video, which had been a bit of like a sort of an Ark of the Covenant situation for certainly like basketball nerds, when I opened it and saw what was inside, it fucking blew my mind.
Melted your face.
Yes. So he made a custom video. So again, like it's the Knicks. What do they have to sell? It's celebrity, it's power, it's access to all of these people in this video.
It's wise guys.
And the first thing you see is a custom, like scripted scene.
Yeah.
With James Gandolfini and Edie Falco, where they are reprising after the end of The Sopranos, the characters.
Can't get that shit on Cameo, dog.
It's
Can't get that shit in Milwaukee.
Absolutely not. And James Gandolfini, who's wearing a beard and he's in like his pied à terre, I think, in Manhattan.
Okay.
It's actually his apartment. People ask questions that are along the lines of like, what is this shitty apartment? And it's like, this is where
do you think James Dolan had dirt on Gandolfini and Edie Falco, or do you think he was dangling courtside tickets in front of them?
I think it's the latter. Yeah. I think James Gandolfini also
big sports fan,
enough of a basketball fan to realize if I can make a dent on LeBron James recruiting, then this is actually going to change.
I feel like Edie still sits courtside.
Oh yeah. And by the way, so does Steve Sharippa is out there. Just like there are some characters in the cinematic universe who are just absolutely real Knick fans. But the point being, you get through that video, which is on our YouTube channel, you can watch it. And then the first face you see after that is Donald Trump.
That aged real well.
Damn.
And it proceeds from there.
Yeah.
Like,
what did LeBron know?
So by the way, like deeper into the video, you get Rudy Giuliani.
Yeah. America's mayor.
You get Harvey Weinstein.
That's right.
I mean, this all James Dolan, like this all checks out. You know what I mean?
It's very on the nose. It's just a Mad Lib that I would not have expected to make it past however many levels.
Woody Allen.
Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Just another who's
the Pope.
who. Yeah. Wait, Pablo, here's a question for you. So if that's the craziest shit you found out thus far, have you thought about if you were like staring down the barrel of your final ep and you knew that, what's the one question you'd want to answer before going out?
Ooh, like a deathbed.
Yeah.
Mystery. Man.
The world is your oyster in this hypothetical.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please.
Can you find out what the fuck's going on with Tom Brady's face?
So I have my own theories about that.
Yeah, you talking to a doctor? Dr. Miami?
We just did an episode actually in which we investigated Bill Belichick's girlfriend.
Yeah. His agent,
assistant, whatever.
His momager, his 23-year-old momager.
His girlager, bro. It's not a manager. That's a girlager.
The stuff I've heard since that episode came out, just about how much influence she has over his life, has been very funny.
I'll say
She got that gorilla grip.
I was gonna say this is just me talking. That motherfucker's pussy whipped.
Yeah.
I'm saying that's his momager. God damn.
In ways,
that pussy going for it on 4th and 5.
Yes, Pablo.
It's got that goal line D.
We could go on.
I mean, I was hoping you would, honestly.
What else is there to say?
Something dime defense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something Malcolm Butler interception. I don't know.
Beast mode.
Deflating balls.
Deflate these balls. She deflates these balls. There it is.
There it is.
That's why you're fucking professional. Dude.
I would love to get further to the bottom of that. But in terms of
That's what he said.
in terms of like my deathbed mystery.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There are things on the list that I don't want to jinx because I think we're close to doing them. But I do want to mention the one that I have a beat on that we were sort of chatting about.
Let's go.
Because I'm trying to get to the to the innermost sanctum in, I believe, sports lore.
Absolutely.
Which is Hideki Matsui's porn collection.
Yes.
Porn
this is
addiction?
like no porn collection.
Yeah, but I'm saying, could we take it a step
I'm not
further?
here to yuck his yums.
I don't think it's. I mean,
He can do it himself.
At a certain point, he's like an art collector, right? He's just amassing an archive.
The vault is considerable and
Fort Knox.
legendarily like hundreds, if not thousands, what I've been told, of DVDs.
Yeah.
And so the idea that Hideki Matsui has a pornographic Criterion closet, I want it.
Right. Into the literal vault.
I want to pick some favorites. I want to put it in my tote bag.
Yeah.
I want to know what he did as he was transitioning, as we all did, to just like on demand, unlimited
websites.
streams.
It's got to be like the Criterion Closet videos, but it's just you surrounded by a bunch of fucking crazy porn.
Well, I want to know what he likes.
Yeah.
In a genuine, again, in a,
What do you think?
in a non-judgmental way.
What do you think he likes? All right,
POV?
lefty, MVP. What do you think?
Tentacles.
Japanese tentacles.
Oh, hentai?
Stuff.
That might be too
Remember
on the
when he
nose.
held up a drawing of his wife?
My favorite. So when I tell you that I've been like at work on an episode like this and I'm trying to make it happen, the drawing figures in.
Oh,
The press. So just that people, because you guys, again, people who live in New York who know this legend, Hideki Matsui held up a drawing he had made of his
He commissioned that
fiance.
shit. Yeah.
And it was a shock to everybody on the Yankees when he announced it.
he didn't commission it. He literally drew it.
He drew it
at
with
the
his
table of the
hand.
press conference. Yeah,
And
an
it's
artiste.
a pretty good drawing.
it's a human.
But it has like a proof of life aspect to it.
But
Like,
could you beat off to it?
so you're going to produce this episode.
That's the question on everyone's minds. So, how close are we to, like, so you have these urban legends floating around sports,
Yes,
right? Like the
yes.
Gandolfini, James Dolan tape, the Hideki Matsui porn vault, Hideki Irabu getting suicided. When you have like a nugget of information, like, and then you just pull on that thread, like, how deep does this go? The porn vaults, and specifically, I'm talking about.
Yeah, look, I think all the time I'm wondering, am I using journalism to keep that tradition alive, or am I indulging conspiracy at a time when people are actually looking for any excuse to say, you guys are not journalistic at all? And so for me, like having an internet, we just did an episode about whether the government invented stuffed crust pizza.
And
It's,
Thoughts?
there is a great deal of truth at the gooey center of that story. Truly, it involves government cheese and how the government was basically handing out farm subsidies to the dairy industry for a long time and collecting billions of pounds of cheese and putting in secret storage facilities. It involves Ronald Reagan basically saying, for the first time seemingly in his tenure as president, we can give this away to poor people and like help feed them because he wanted to get rid of
cheese is the bee's knees, my friend.
crack and cheese were really high up, it turns out, on his priorities list.
Yeah. He invented that as well, yeah.
But the point being, like, that was a wildly viral TikTok theory that we investigated, and it turned out there is truth to it, but also we found the guy who actually invented stuffed crust pizza, and
He was a spy?
He was a private citizen,
was
not federal employee.
he made right by his genius, or is he like
He
get paid?
He has been awaiting the due that culturally he is owed.
100%.
Let's make this right, people. All right, so Hideki Matsui's porn vault. We are slowly but surely gaining ground
Yes.
on that gold mine.
Yes.
Unfurling the sock.
On that off-white creamy mine. I want to ask you, we want to ask you about like just like the larger world of current contemporary sports. One of the big stories, the NBA All-Star weekend just happened and it fucking sucked dick. Do you think the NBA should just scrap it?
So the counterpoint to all of this, the thing to juxtapose the All-Star game against, I was in San Francisco for the All-Star weekend stuff. It was a bummer.
Yeah.
It was a bummer. Especially when you compare it to what is going on with the NHL, which is not a thing I say very often.
Fire.
But literally they had 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
It's incredible.
And it was premised on nationalistic, jingoistic resentments.
Well, hey man, if Canada's going to boo the national anthem, I'm not going to say anything.
You're going to catch these hands, brother.
Because they should.
And were all the people involved also all Trump voters? Probably. Like, it's not exactly a convenient morality play, but
what sport do you think has the Trumpiest athlete voter base? Is it hockey or baseball?
I think I would guess baseball, just because the Canadian demographic might dilute it, but otherwise, among American athletes, I would say hockey and baseball are
hockey has a lot of Russians, so you know.
Right.
What about NFL though? That's like a lot of players from the South.
Is that the league?
The reality, if I had to back of the envelope estimate, a majority of all of these guys,
he did win by a landslide vote.
Well, but more than that, just like for tax reasons, and for general apoliticism, they don't really necessarily care.
Yeah,
but they do.
Are pretty stupid too.
They do vote with their wallets in the way that lots of people
That's
would.
true.
But okay, so back to the NBA All-Star game. Do you think it's time to fucking...
You gotta do USA versus the world.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not like, white versus black?
So I would click. Yes, I would. I would absolutely.
And we get a Filipino team in the mix, one of the four nations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right?
So Nate Robinson, who is I think Nate Robinson at one point told me that
the boxer?
That's right. His I believe grandmother or great grandmother is Filipino, and he just got a kidney transplant. Shout out to Nate Robinson. He was looking openly, please, I need a kidney, and I believe he would now be healthy enough and would qualify for the Asian team.
Nice.
So I would like him.
Okay.
I'm just GMing the squad right now.
You're race drafting.
Yeah, exactly. I would look if it was up to me. I would love to see a race war.
Just straight up.
Hey, hang on. Just give it some time.
Yeah.
But white versus black versus Asian versus Spanish speaking.
Sure. Europe.
Everything else.
Where are we putting the Serbians?
The open bar.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
It's a great question. Could we get the former Yugoslavia to just be its own squad?
Sure.
Do you think the NBA with the All-Star game and like incorporating Mr. Beast and LaMelo, they're like trying to win the youth viewership as like a knee-jerk reaction to the fucking ratings being such dog shit this year?
So the NBA has this like gift and a curse. The gift is that it's actually really popular in ways that are clearly authentic to the digital whatever. I sound old talking about the digital generation, but like young people love consuming NBA shit online.
Yep.
What they don't like doing is watching games.
Yeah.
And so there's this problem where the thing that you used to get money from, which was just games, your product, is not where the most valuable demographic available that you do have is active in any way. And so, yeah, when the Mr. Beast thing,
Jimmy, the other Jimmy,
it just feels beneath the NBA.
Yeah, no shit, Pablo.
But you go to enough of these meetings, these like conferences, and like it's the dream to get Mr. Beast to bless your event.
He's the Pope.
For real. And so all I want to remind the NBA of is that you guys just pretend like you're still cool.
Mr. Beast will give whatever team gets ratings of 98. We'll give him $10 million.
Yeah, for real.
So I didn't love it. Obviously, I thought it was beneath a sport that is swimming actually in cultural relevance. Other than that,
what do you think is the reason why ratings are down? Is it that the players are just too fucking good now and it's just like so routine? It's like basketball. Is it just players shooting threes? Is it The fact that the final 2 minutes takes 20 minutes
Yeah.
to play out.
A lot of suspects in the murder mystery. I would say two things. Number one, the games during the regular season just don't feel important.
Mm.
The NFL, by contrast, everything
Yes.
is like, it feels like it's life or death. And it's also once
Sometimes
a week.
it is.
Yeah.
And sometimes
CTE.
it almost
that'll
is.
bite you later.
But for me, like I think you want scarcity of the event that you're trying to draw people to. That helps. The NBA has 82 of these things. It's
Right.
way too many. And then parallel to it, it feels like the players, because they're being medically load managed, because otherwise they just know that the playoffs are they're a season on. Playoffs are 2.5 months long.
Yeah.
So they're
It's crazy.
saving themselves. And so you're asking people to care about this stuff more than the actual competitors do.
Yeah, right.
And in the NFL, that's just not an issue.
Mhm.
And so the solution is probably to cut it down to 66 games, start it in, on Christmas Day.
Mm.
Let it be its own thing that the NFL is not sort of like breathing down the neck of.
Right.
Let that wrap up. But yeah, I think that the problem with that solution is just that requires you to have fewer games, which
Right.
means less money.
Yep.
And so the basic math on it will never work out. So more Mr. Beast.
Do you think just real
More
just,
beast.
just putting a bow on this? Do you think that Adam Silver's job is even remotely in jeopardy?
No, because
No.
he just tripled the value of the NBA's media rights deal.
Okay.
It's a remarkable thing to basically be that successful while also that
Sucking.
anxious about being cool enough.
Right.
And so it's again, it's a good problem to have, but when it comes to sports is funny to me because only during ESPN's a big reason for this. Only on all sports television channels and at certain like celebrity events does everybody even get the sense that they're in the same like business. Like the NBA and the NHL and the NFL and Major League Baseball, like they don't really have a lot in common other than the technical fact that they are sports.
And the Trump voters.
And also that. But when you get them in the same room or you're forced to reckon with, okay, what's the pecking order here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're like, oh shit. Well, the NBA feels like it's a distant second or third, honestly, behind the NFL and college football.
Oh, true.
I mean, television ratings for college football. College football is the second most popular sport in America, and it's not close
Right.
by ratings. And so the NBA feels its insecurity whenever, you have to measure yourself against these other things, even if you've just tripled the
Right.
$1 billion deal you have.
Do you think we should implement North Korean basketball rules?
What are those, James?
It's like a 25-foot hoop, like it's like a 10-pointer. I think a block is worth some points, and I think like a missed free throw is like you deduct points.
I'm
And
sold.
I think there's like no fouls allowed in the last 2 minutes or something like that.
That's a good episode of my show, honestly.
Do you get murdered if you lose?
Yeah,
That's tight.
yeah, you do. You get launched into space.
Dennis Robbins, the commissioner.
Yeah. It's Mr. Beast games, but in real life.
But also, the rules of like playing.
Can I just okay?
please.
So slam dunks are worth 3 points.
Great.
If you swish a 3, it's worth 4.
Woo.
If you miss a free throw, you lose a point.
That's awesome.
Field goals in the last 3 seconds are worth 8 points, and ties are allowed. Which that's weird. I don't know about ties.
I love deduction, dude.
Yeah,
Or around the horn rules, dude.
Yes. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'm so sold 100%.
they should integrate slam ball, the game with trampolines, where they had to end it because some guy lost a foot, a la LeVar
Was that
Ball.
what happened?
I don't know. Maybe public needs to find
Another,
out.
dude, you're just getting free game here, bro. No
Losing
pun
a
intended.
foot feels like traditionally
In
that's
slam ball?
traditionally that's like diabetes.
So like they had a warehouse. I think they filmed the whole season over the course of like 3 days, right? And I think some guy's foot got caught in like the in-between trampoline part,
God.
and it just fucking got torn off.
Oh no, not slam ball limbo, dude.
Yeah,
Strikes
LeVar Ball.
again.
He, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
biggest story in
Prayers
sports.
up for the boss of the balls, dude.
Yeah,
I
those big ball brand shoes were not it.
No ankle support.
okay. So North Korean basketball rules.
Yeah,
As long as whoever the current autocrat, presumably still Kim Jong-un,
Mhm.
as long as he plays,
right.
like
Yeah.
playing against a dictator in those videos, you've seen like the videos of like Vladimir Putin playing hockey.
Right, yeah.
I just want that to be part of the dynamic.
And if you beat him, you get to be dictator for a day.
But if you try to beat him, you also will get
he
assassinated.
has snipers on the roof.
Yep.
Yes.
It's like watching Justin Bieber play hockey, where everyone's just like, "Oh."
But also, you remember that video of Obama playing basketball?
Yeah, he was big hooper.
But as much as I love Barack, right? You can get, when you play pickup with somebody whose importance is so outsized compared to everybody else, you get a version of this.
He had the drones on standby, dude. Come on.
Yeah. We talked to when we were talking to Brian Greenberg of How to Make It in America. He was talking about playing pickup ball against Leo's the Pussy Posse,
Oh,
Clooney,
yeah.
Leo, all these guys.
Tobey Maguire, and he's like, "Yeah, these guys like they get there and like, yeah, we're ready to play ball," and they ran like a 3-man weave to warm up, and like they were so used to like guys like just being so deferential that they just got blown out and they were so pissed.
Yeah.
That like Brian Greenberg and his squad that grew up like playing basketball in New York actually like fucking knew how to ball.
Brian Greenberg's like dunking on Richard Kind.
Yeah. Well, it's the hardwood version of Yes Men, right? Like it's not real.
So I played pickup once with Manny Pacquiao.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay.
And this was a version of that. It was in a pre-fight training camp. I was doing a story on him for ESPN at the time. And yeah, he does his catapult 3-pointer. He'll do insane 360s in the lane on layups. It's a very Filipino style, honestly. As much as it's ridiculous, it's like I know this is a style I am familiar with.
Jordan Clarkson, Jalen Green, etc. Manny Pacquiao.
But with the added component of everybody like being, it's like the reason I was there doing it was because I was embedded in the entourage with 40 Filipino dudes.
Yeah.
So I have no idea if Manny ever even knew that I was a journalist at any point.
Oh, right. You're just a guy.
In any of this. But playing against him, it's like, don't let him fall on your foot. Don't play defense. Like let him have a clear path.
Don't box him out because they'll think you're being gay and then knock you out.
By the way, Manny Pacquiao's political platform has been one of the bigger bummers.
How do you feel about that as the goated Filipino athlete? He now is a fucking bigot, or always has been, I guess.
He is absolutely tight with the Philippines' own autocrat as well. He's also, unfortunately and inconveniently, an actual senator.
Oh, that's right.
So it's not merely
Senator Pacquiao.
This guy has bad takes. It's this guy is like one of the most powerful people in the country.
Passing bad policy.
He's like the Herschel Walker of the Philippines.
Passing bad policy, but not the ball.
Right.
Like,
Oh, he's a ball hog?
He
Shocker.
loves
Shocked.
jacking shots.
Yeah, he's taking 360 layups in the lane, dude. He ain't passing the rock, dude.
But man, if you give me a highlight reel montage of Manny Pacquiao knocking out like the greatest Mexican fighters of their generation, the Mexecutioner.
Yeah.
Give me the Mexecutioner highlights.
Is he the GOAT Filipino athlete?
Yeah.
In personally?
Not close.
Okay.
Not close.
You sept the art from the artist.
Yeah.
Of course.
You have to.
When it comes
Of
to YouTube
course.
highlights,
You have to.
the Mexican.
Because it's either Manny Pacquiao or that one guy that sings Creed really well.
Well, there are a lot of guys who sing Creed really well.
What's
in
your?
the Philippines.
You're famously Filipino. What's your go-to karaoke song?
Total Eclipse of the Heart?
Oh,
yeah.
banger, dude.
Do you do the Will Ferrell version or you do it straight up?
I do it straight up because I have an appreciation for the way that the
For Bonnie Tyler, what's your name?
not Bonnie Tyler, for the way the chef intended. But Filipino karaoke is also an episode that I am like,
Oh yeah.
like, why is it? Why are we so good?
Why
You guys
is
are-
water wet, dude?
Yeah.
Why is the sky blue? Yeah. More Filipino questions since we're just kind of jumping around here. What's Pablo Torre's take on Jollibee?
The best.
Yeah.
What's your order?
So the spaghetti has sugar in it
Yeah.
and fried chicken.
Mm.
So I'm getting that, but I'm also getting the mango pie is the greatest dessert in fast
Delicious,
food. Like I can
dude.
make an argument for the spaghetti and
It's
the
like an
fried
empanada,
chicken.
dude.
It's in a Mortal Kombat tournament of fast food desserts. The Jollibee mango pie is fucking fatalitying everything else.
It's finishing
So good.
even
McDonald's
the
apple
ube.
pie, apple strudel.
I love the McDonald's apple pie. What the mango pie at Jollibee is an improvement on
Yes.
that.
It's more fried and better filling.
Yeah.
But the spaghetti is great.
Spicy chicken.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
But for me, like the fact that you got to go to Port Authority to eat that shit.
Yeah. Or you get there's one in Brooklyn on Kings Highway that will deliver.
Too.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, the greatest Filipino food in New York City, obviously. Queens and then Jersey City.
Yeah.
Which is
There's
Not
Jollibee in
New
Jersey
York.
City. Shocking.
Do you like the duck fetus dish? What's that called?
balut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You fuck with it?
Yeah, I do. They had a balut eating contest at a Filipino like street fair last year. And I think there was like some like, we're going to make like viral videos of people like, trying this shit.
Yeah.
And it was just people like casually eating it
And you're like, oh, it's delicious.
Yeah, like this is just
This
this
is
is
what we
good.
eat. Yeah.
Yeah. It is though eating a duck abortion. So
Yes.
Yeah.
A little zygote for a treat.
Adobo a bobo, as they call it. They don't call it that. Speaking of Manny Pacquiao being a fucking bigot, and also Manny, if you're listening, please don't kill me.
Yeah.
What do you think from like the WNBA salaries and Caitlin Clark making like pennies on what she does for the league to fucking the fellas inside the NBA losing their job soon? What's the most egregious injustice in sports right now?
Ooh. I kind of still think it's the max contract.
Yeah.
So in the NBA, and this is true of I guess sports in general, but it's a world in which the greatest players cannot make what they actually deserve.
Right.
Because it's convenient to ownership, but also it's convenient for like the rest of the athletes who are their colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
This is now getting into like some union analysis.
No, I was going to say, right? This
But
is a
there's a
players
middle
association
class.
problem too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a middle class that benefits when LeBron James can't make his full value of $100 million or whatever it is a year.
Right.
And so the basically the artificial restriction on LeBron means that everybody else can make more.
The governor on his salary. And
Yes.
just throw max in the title there and
Right.
everyone's satisfied.
Right. But the other second injustice is the fact that we're all still pretending like Caitlin Clark isn't like actually
Right.
the greatest gift to women's basketball.
Totally.
And by the way, there's great delicacy on this topic because you don't want to say what came before her wasn't valuable, because of course it is. And she has contemporaries who are excellent
Mhm.
and they're self-evident. Asia Wilson down the line. But Caitlin Clark, when it just comes to like, who are we tuning in to see? The fact that Caitlin Clark is in fact on a rookie contract in the WNBA's own rookie wage scale, making $80,000.
Right. But bringing 36 million, they said, to the league, to Indiana, whatever.
How come
Yeah.
you're not wearing a WNBA t-shirt, Pablo?
So Andrew Coe has made. He has.
Oh, wow,
made
you passed the buck quick, dude.
He
I want
has
to know if
made
the title
a
where
New York
Caitlin Clark's
Liberty shirt.
making a decent wage. How about that?
Why aren't
One
you
can
stealing
fantasize.
via bootleg the revenue that
Yeah.
would go to Caitlin Clark?
Let's knock her down a peg.
Yeah.
Anyway, but look, I for me, like WNBA is legitimately it's a really fun product. I just
Ellie the elephant with a Telfar bag.
so Ellie the
Swag.
elephant is I've seen Ellie grind on people that would not appreciate that in any other context.
Didn't she twerk on Eric Adams? Am I making that up?
That feels like a thing that happened.
It feels like a Hideki Matsui porn.
Which
Big
is all
girl
to
boss.
say that when it comes to like the catching up that we're doing in terms of the business of women's basketball, I think you can agree that yes, the WNBA is a great product without Caitlin Clark, but also the fact that she is there and is the son of this universe. She probably deserves a lot more than she's already getting.
The son
Yeah.
and the daughter
Absolutely.
of this universe.
I mean, she's a star, right? She's going to be around for a minute. Let's hope. I don't know. Well, do you have like a white whale of someone in the sports world that you want to have on the podcast, or do a story on, or just like spend time with and dig into their story?
Yeah, absolutely. So the person that I think I just want to know what I want to do, okay, is ask LeBron James for a series of extemporaneous book reports.
Oh, you don't think he's not a real reader?
No, come on, dude.
He's not a real
I mean,
page.
He's
turner.
not good at pretending that
To
he's
read.
a reader.
He's terrible.
All
at
of
pretending
those
to read.
photos are like anybody knows if you're
Yeah.
pretending that you read the book, you got to like have it dog-eared towards the middle.
Yeah.
And LeBron's walking around like he just started them,
Yep.
which in its own way is an honesty that I appreciate.
Right. It's more, authentic.
Starting books can be hard.
Starting anything is hard.
Starting like you got to get into it.
Oh, sure,
right?
sure.
You're telling me you don't have any books that have been on your nightstand for like months that you're just like.
If LeBron James wants to join the Infinite Jest book club with me and finally read that shit, I am here for it.
Right.
But I would genuinely I think LeBron is so controlled
Yeah.
in his image that any way to like get, I have interviewed him before, not for the podcast, but I remember I interviewed him for ESPN and I interviewed him after a Lakers practice, I believe. Or maybe it was when the Cavs were visiting LA. I forget if he had already gone to the Lakers, but he threw the basketball like 40 feet off the wall in the practice gym, let it bounce in front of him, and then tomahawk dunked it.
Fire.
And then walked over to me and was like,
Yeah, I can read.
How come you didn't ask him then?
Because I believe I was on an assignment for a magazine story that was not about this.
Okay.
But
you didn't want to like fuck up the rapport, fuck up the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like 5 minutes with LeBron, and I don't even remember what I asked him, so I regret not following my own instincts.
That's literally like a Twitter prompt. It's like 5 minutes with LeBron or like $100,000.
Do you get starstruck anymore?
That moment when LeBron dunked it and walked over was the most starstruck I've ever been. But in general, like my nerve endings are pretty numb.
Pretty fried, yeah.
What's the last time you guys felt starstruck?
Ooh, good question. I feel like I'm on Pablo's show again.
This wasn't the last time I was starstruck, but I do remember this is that I was once going to a Knicks game and I got into an elevator with John Starks. And that was like, whoa, like what do I fucking say or do right now? But I don't know. I mean, in the capacity of this job, like not really.
We were in Fassbender's wake when we went to the Louis Vuitton show last summer in Paris. Big fucking flex from us. That was cool. He didn't look good. Like he looked pretty shitty and old, but like Fassbender is Fassbender.
Yeah. So I will say there was a moment when I measured what it means to be famous.
I was walking Fassbender's penis.
Well, measuring that is
didn't have a ruler big enough. Yeah. Didn't have a yardstick.
There was a time when I was in the wake. I was reminded by you saying in the wake of. I was in the wake of Paul Rudd leaving a concert, and I was walking behind him, and you just overheard 1,000 people all say some version of "That's Paul Rudd" or Ant-Man.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne.
But it was like, oh, that's what it. I felt like I was like eavesdropping on.
Like that's his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that's the level of just actual fame.
Do you get that?
My version of fame is the best.
What's that?
It is general, like I can eat a sandwich on a park bench like Keanu Reeves and not get photographed.
Right.
Like that level of comfort.
Yeah.
But then there are enough people who know sports and have watched ESPN where at a restaurant,
right,
they might treat me a little bit better.
Ooh.
Yo, that young soccer player's here.
Yeah.
But he looks like shit.
It's that he looks like he's very athletic.
He looks like a Chinese guy with
who's this Chinese guy with the Mexican name? I look at the reservation.
Yeah.
But it's also like historically, like,
do you get like good sports? Do you get like good seats at games and shit? Or is that against your journalistic integrity?
The seats I get at games are when I'm with friends who are actually famous.
Okay.
And I'm their +1.
Who's your most famous friend?
The person who I suckle at the teat of most when it comes to courtside seats is Jason Sudeikis.
Okay.
Who is a friend who has been taking me to all of these things. And it's
Could you get him on the show? Like our show. I don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
We'll have you maybe put some feelings.
Don't worry, we won't make fun of his sneakers too much.
Yeah, that's right. He loves Jordans with the suit, dude.
Let me review the transcripts of your show and then connect you to
okay, going back to the last time you were like quote unquote starstruck when LeBron James committed a superhuman feat of athleticism and mind-body connection. What was it like going through puberty with a father who you once described as the LeBron James of Filipino urologists?
What a distinction.
I grew up playing in the way that I think any normal kid would, with like the stuff that your dad has around the house, and these sort of like medical devices that I would unknowingly like use to like pick up like dinosaurs and like G.I. Joes.
I hope you cleaned them first.
Were urological devices.
So
So I mean,
crazy.
Genuinely grew up with the least possible anxiety around the penis.
Right.
Because this
was
because as I believe David Foster Wallace said, this is water.
Right.
This is penis. Like we're all what's the
real meat beater over here.
I can't wait till Harvard asks you back to deliver your this is penis address.
Does that make you, if he's LeBron James, does that make you the Bronny, a Filipino urologist? And if so, how many penises have you mangled? Because he is not good at basketball.
Man, it does remind me. There is an athlete who has mangled Filipino penises.
What? Oh, Tim Tebow.
Correct.
Holy
wow,
shit.
fuck, dude.
This is why I listen to you guys' show.
That's right. I forgot that that was his charitable.
He was a missionary.
Yeah, fuck.
Circumcising.
Real cutter.
Real sniper.
Real snipper. Snip gang.
He converted many young Filipinos and also
their penises.
stole their penis skin.
Wow.
So
That's the biggest injustice in sports.
Was he better converting Filipinos to Christianity or converting third downs?
Absolutely the former.
Yeah.
But I'm for most of my career, it has been me trying to explain to my parents, I'm not going to be a doctor.
Are they
I'm not going
ashamed
to
of
do the
you
Bronny thing.
being a podcaster?
They were concerned for me until I think there was enough very superficial public recognition from people they knew, because they're not diehard sports fans.
Right.
My dad certainly is responsible for why I grew up liking the Yankees and watching basketball, but they're not reading or swimming in sports takes.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they got a sense that this was actually a real career, it was because of ESPN, frankly. And then
Being
they
on
were
TV.
like, yes,
The
television.
Ocho.
Being on mute in a sports bar. At
Hell yeah. At 3:30.
That's my son. That's my son mouthing.
Yeah.
The American dream.
Yeah.
It's why they came to this country.
Yeah. Every just fucking regular is the guy being like, why is this Chinese guy have a Mexican name? Because they can't hear you speaking English.
Correct.
It's on mute.
Correct.
Yeah. Oh, is badminton on? Ping pong? Table tennis, sorry. Speaking of the American dream, speaking of ESPN, do you think that Stephen A. Smith has a future in politics?
He does. And I have made jokes on my show about how it's going to be Stephen A. and Hunter Biden on a ticket together.
Fingers crossed.
hell yes.
You have my vote.
And
But Stephen A. is anti-marijuana.
correct.
Or was. I don't know what he
Correct.
is now.
He's pretty straight. He's pretty straight laced, I feel like.
He has been friends with Sean Hannity for many, many moons. He is not discernibly a Democrat in any way, by the way, which is maybe an asset.
He's an Eric Adams Democrat.
He did go to fashion school.
Yeah, FIT.
That's right.
Isn't it crazy they named the fashion school Fit?
Let's get to the bottom of that,
You want
dude.
Stephen A on the show? I can,
Yes.
I might be able to work that out.
Yes.
We've been trying through our boy Bailey, who does the
we've been
social
texting
media.
That's
Bailey.
right. So
forever.
So part of my whole amusement at Stephen A started with, I just want to see him at a debate.
Yeah.
Obviously.
dude.
Oh,
Like
he destroy.
I have various criticisms of Stephen A's actual takes, but the guy who said about the New York Jets, gangrene, that's an insult to gangs.
He's the GOAT.
I want on the debate stage.
Yeah, he's
I
put his
want
10,000 hours. He could crush.
Do
it's
you
like,
agree with his takes on big booty Latinas?
as I believe he said on the record, quote, I'm a bottom feeder.
Wow. Yes.
That is my fucking president, ladies and
Single
gentlemen.
issue voter over here.
Yeah.
Eats ass. Vote.
He's
So,
done.
so Stephen A just unleashed in the way that you want, again, it's like when Godzilla is attacking your country, can we get our own monster
Right.
to fight that?
Yeah.
Ideally, I would like eventually a president who is, not graded on the criteria of, are you enough of a monster to defeat the other monster?
Are you Mecha Godzilla?
Are you Mecha Godzilla? But Stephen A is also somebody who I've learned a lot from.
Really?
Like,
What's the best?
We all have.
What's the best lesson he's taught you?
His mastery of silence.
Oh,
It's
we
the
can learn something
hardest
from
thing
that.
to do.
It speaks volumes, some say.
On live television, time feels like it's passing by so quickly. The confidence it takes to say, Carmelo Anthony, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, is bad. It's like that's a master. That's a
Yeah.
master of the
You are
genre.
watching
You are
a
a
master
master
at
at work.
So for all of the reasons that Stephen A was, raised in the darkness, born in and molded by it, you want to give takes. Here is our gladiator.
Yes.
I would like to see that, even though, again, I always just think of that Darren Ravel tweet, which is a sentence that is a disturbing one. I feel bad for our country, but this is tremendous content.
Oh.
I want that for that reason. Stephen A, yes, go be president.
Right.
It's also horrifying for all of the reasons having to do with, I don't even know how much he knows about politics in general.
So do you think he's running?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do. The Stephen A super PAC is going to be crazy, by the way.
That's a big tent.
Absolutely.
He's beloved by
A
a lot
big
of
tent.
powerful people.
A big tent full of big jeans. It's like the older generation of guys that text Stephen A, his sources are
He's got the Unk vote on lock.
it's a remarkable thing.
Yeah.
And we're all invited to the
The,
cookout.
the Michael Jordan jeans platform.
So speaking of all of this, the most starstruck I've ever been was when I met Steve Harvey.
Oh my God. Tell us about that interaction.
Yeah, please.
So the greatest moment of my life was when I went on Celebrity Family Feud.
Right.
Mhm.
And I don't know if I'm skipping ahead, so forgive me if this was a thing you have any curiosity about.
We're flexible, dude.
But when I think about what Steve Harvey wore that day, it is associated with the happiest day, arguably, of my life. With all apologies to my wife and child.
Fuck him.
But
Fuck them, kid.
But Steve Harvey wore a metallic, like almost military green brown tie, shirt, jacket. In the way that this felt like again, it wasn't quite Hunger Games, but it was kind of like, I hope there's a planet in the Dune universe where this man is the one who greets you when you descend from your spaceship.
He sounds like
Titan.
he sounds like Gaddafi. Just ruling
Gaddafi
Libya.
Corps.
Yeah.
So Steve Harvey shaking his hand and then just being on an episode of Family Feud was the most out of body I've ever felt.
How are his teeth? How are the veneers?
Gleaming?
Yeah.
Inspirational.
Blinding.
The torch that the Statue of Liberty holds
Did you
should be replaced.
kind of feel like you were talking to just a giant hamburger?
Nobody
As like the meme dictates.
Nobody has made me feel more like I've climbed inside of a television
Right.
than when talking to the aforementioned glorious
You
hamburger.
met the Wizard of Oz.
Correct.
How do you do on Family Feud?
I not to just brag about the greatest day of my life, but you're talking to the owner of the all-time record for largest comeback in the history of Celebrity Family Feud.
Wow. Okay. Congratulations.
That's insane.
So, okay.
Thank you.
You
Your proudest
also
moment.
You also are the record holder of the most points ever on Around the Horn, correct?
I believe it's the opposite. The most points.
Second most, according to Wikipedia, you have the most points ever awarded and the second most ever deducted. Does that track?
I think it's mostly that I used to predict every year that a 16 seed would beat a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Just going to hit once.
And the year that it happened, I
To
picked
UVA, right?
It was UMBC beating UVA, and I picked the wrong 16 seed.
Pablo.
And so I got, I believe, the most negative points, or the second most in the history
Second
of the
most.
show.
And you also have the third most in terms of records.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Do you think, talking about Stephen A's takes, talking about, I don't know, just takes in general. Like, do you think that take culture in sports media, we've hit our peak where people are just saying shit that's as outrageous as possible to go fucking viral?
16 seed's going to be the 1 seed this year.
As
you wear UVA.
as somebody who is who resembles the problem, who has been accused of resembling
Really?
the problem. Well, look, at a certain point, it originated, speaking of Around the Horn and its original days, like these were veteran newspaper columnists who worked for decades in order to earn the right to give a take on television. The barrier for entry, obviously, is low enough for absolutely everybody to start a channel and to say whatever they want. And so, again, democratization, internet, I am not, whatever. It's all good, cool. Let us all compete against each other in an all-out take war. But I do feel like part of the whole premise of my show is that undervalued at this point is the very basic concept of, are you finding out anything new? Because we are regurgitating largely it's a fucking human centipede of takes.
Yeah, there's no new take.
Bottom feeders abound.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst part of the human centipede, obviously.
Being at the front.
The caboose.
You're at the front. You have no ass to eat.
Okay, Steve.
I think it's the middle. Because,
why?
because you're eating someone else's shit
And then you got to shit.
and you're
into-
shitting in someone else's mouth.
Yeah.
And if they're fighting it, if the caboose is fighting
Oh,
it,
I see what you're saying.
every in and out, it's a struggle. At least the caboose has the relief of just unencumbered exit.
Right.
Wow. Great point. You should be on TV.
How's Zen?
You did earn it.
This is a take I've been waiting to unleash on somebody.
This is going in the description for sure.
But all we are is, we're a snake eating our own tail. So in terms of just like, how do you break through? Like truly, like you need to be an artisan like Stephen A.
Yeah.
Who is theatrically the best to ever do it. Or you have to be, again, with all due respect to my colleague who I genuinely enjoy encountering in the world, but like Kendrick Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
Big perk.
like a perk. What I mostly want is like stories from you.
Right.
Like tell me about what you did, but beyond that. So when Kendrick Perkins says the leader on the Oklahoma City Thunder, when it was Kevin Durant and James Harden and Russell Westbrook, was me, Kendrick Perkins. Like, I will.
You don't think he believes that though in his own fucking deluded mind?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I love that, and I love that he does.
Yeah.
But like that's something that's grounded in your lived firsthand primary source experience on something.
Oh, you like that? That's what you want from him.
I like it because at the very least,
You want the war stories.
I'm not saying that professional athletes can't give takes like everybody else, but their differentiation is you guys have done things. When you speak with authority on something you've done, it is different. So
True.
just lean into that. But the more that we're all just competing in a debate tournament,
But then why is Tom Brady so bad at it while KG and Paul Pierce are so good at it?
because KG and Paul Pierce, I think, are just naturally likable.
and they're more drunk. At least Paul Pierce is drunk typically.
The Paul Pierce poker game or whatever that was, the video.
Oh, when he
of
went
him.
live with the
He's getting a
the
back
Huzz.
massage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That guy
The
was
Huzz.
vaping. Love that. Incredible.
Yeah. That's
Love
real
that.
shit. That's his lived experience. We're talking about the truth.
But Tom Brady, just to make the point, like Tom Brady is constantly sounding like a person who is imitating a professional broadcaster.
He sounds like he's trying to be Romo.
Yeah. This is Romo's fault, right? To some degree.
I think Tony Romo put it in Tom Brady's head that, that you can be praised as a football genius and for announcing a game, and Tom Brady just doesn't have it.
Doesn't have it.
You
don't got it. Another way, look, in a super crowded ecosystem where everyone's just fighting for airtime, fighting to cut through the noise. Yes, you can just like manufacture outrageous takes. Another way to go viral, getting super fucking blazed and going on the Dan Le Batard show. How high were you?
You'll have to be more specific around which.
The most recent one,
Yeah.
you kind of went viral for being glazed.
On your boss's show.
So I'm accused of this semi-frequently. If you're asking me, have
Is it
I
racism because of the
I was
eyes?
going to say that.
I think there's a bit of just like eyelid bigotry.
Yep.
I would claim that the lights in the clip you're referring to, I think it was PTI.
The one where you're very high. Oh, it was PTI?
So I think I was doing PTI from Miami,
Okay.
and I had done Dan's show earlier in the day, and people were claiming that I was stoned all day.
Damn, Chuck, you really fucked me on the research here.
If I'm thinking of the same clip, and maybe there's another, I've been again incredibly
Right.
unfortunately.
You don't remember? You were
accused.
fucking stoned out of your mind.
Yeah, out of your
Also-
gourd, brother.
Also, unfortunately, is largely accurate.
But okay, yeah.
But the lights, I think, made it seem like I was,
Do you ever toke up before hitting the camera?
Have I in the past?
What's
Sources close
What's the statute
to
of
my
limitations on
lungs
this? Yeah.
say yes.
Sources close to your lungs.
My other lung.
But that's a way to kind of cut through it. And you did. Whether or not you were fucking toking,
Yeah.
you were.
Sure.
It surfaced.
I think that everybody who does professional sports broadcasting should be microdosing mushrooms.
Oh, I love
And then
that.
just see how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
Take
how
it from there.
feels. Yeah.
That's something the NBA, I think, has over the NFL is their more relaxed drug policy, right?
So the NBA, when it came time to like negotiate the collective bargaining agreement, they were like, all right, I guess we'll give you guys what you really want. Like no more like punishment for weed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The secret of that whole decision was the NBA was at that point,
Mhm.
it's just like, it was a concession that they didn't even care about anymore.
Yeah.
It is so. New York, I believe that New York, by the way, is just the most weed-friendly city in the world at this point, honestly. Like I went to Amsterdam. The restrictions seem to be far more rigorous.
Interesting.
Denver, LA, no?
I mean, LA, you can't smoke where
You can't smoke and drive.
the rule.
No, right?
Yeah, right. It's
But
true.
the rule in New York where you can smoke weed wherever you smoke a cigarette
Yeah.
is essentially diplomatic immunity for anybody all the time. And no other city really has that. In Amsterdam, it's not that way. In LA, it's not that way. In
Right.
Seattle, it's not that way. So I say that all to say, when it comes to the NBA giving up on something, it's like that was not really a concession. It was just about time.
Yeah.
I think it's also illegal in Amsterdam to sniff bike seats, and you can definitely do that in New York. They don't give a fuck.
yeah.
But I did do an episode once.
Stephen A. told me that.
We did an episode once about whether weed could be a PED.
Oh.
for basketball players. And so we interviewed Matt Barnes out in LA. And the stories of what those guys needed to do to evade capture.
Prosecution.
There are stories where like the NBA tester would show up and literally watch them pee. Like watch them pee.
Like your dad at his place of business.
Correct.
Yeah.
A urological level of intimacy.
Rigorousness. Yeah.
Have you ever done a Pablo Torre Finds Out on Who Wants to Sex Matumbo?
Oh man.
R.I.P. to the god.
R.I.P. I
Put your
have
fingers up.
I
Wag
have
'em.
interviewed Kevin Matumbo. I had breakfast with him once. I was doing a story about the afterlife of 7-footers.
Oh,
It's like what happens when
Short one.
So
Tragic.
the actuarial chart is not encouraging
no.
to our centers,
Our big fellas.
to our big fellas. But he also told me that, he had to get a special toilet made because,
for his dumps.
Yeah.
you got to get a higher toilet.
You got to get a toilet made for a Triceratops, dude. Or I guess a Brontosaurus in this case.
What do you like?
Probably
A platform seat?
Yeah.
He had to get the seat raised, elevated. But also along those same lines, like I went to Deer Valley with Mark Eden, RIP, a 7'4" center with the Utah Jazz, who's like one of the NBA's all-time blocks leaders. And you just get a sense of, I flew with him on the plane, went skiing with him, borrowed ski gear from him.
Rough.
Got a sense of what it feels like to be the most infantilized a person can possibly be. As I'm like not good at skiing and he's picking me up with one hand and my like nose is snotting. And I'm like,
It's cradling you.
yeah. So the point being that at every level of existence, he was, and every 7-footer is, being constantly photographed.
Yeah, just because you're a freak.
You're a freak. By statistical measures, you're a freak. And so when it comes to what's it like to be in someone's wake, the most jarring one was just hanging out with a 7-foot tall retired NBA player.
Yeah.
It sucks. As much as it's also absurd and delightful, it is incredibly invasive and lonely despite being surrounded all of the time.
Yeah. Imagine being that tall and you aren't a hooper.
You're worthless.
That would really suck.
You have no value to society. Truly.
I've talked
Kill
to,
yourself.
I've talked to such people.
Oh.
And it's, as you described, it is.
It's a waste of, it's honestly spitting in the face of God.
Yeah.
So the statistics, we did this calculation for the story. I did this for Sports Illustrated many years ago. If you are 7 foot or taller in America, you have an almost 20% chance of being in the NBA.
That's crazy.
Almost 1 in 5.
Yeah.
That's how rare it is to be a 7-footer. And so if you're one of the 4 other dudes,
come on, bro.
It's you are obviously being.
Can't you be on like practice squad and just like put your hand up in the center's face?
A human obstacle.
Then they invented that.
Oh, the little fucking
they invented like a broom with a hand. At the end.
Yeah,
you could stand outside of car dealerships and flail around.
Yeah, there's that.
So, by the way, speaking of the actuarial chart of all of this, like we're talking on the day that Victor Wembanyama was just announced, he's out for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
he has a blood clot in some.
Crazy.
I'm just like, I don't know what that injury is
Chris
or
Bosh
whether
had.
this is.
Yeah,
it just
cut his
feels
career
like,
short. NBA champion Chris Bosh.
I've had thrombosis in my main vein. You know what I mean?
Thrombosis.
Thrombosis. Yeah. Not my shoulder though.
How did that feel?
I'll ask your father about it.
But real quick, speaking of main veins, speaking of tall guys, Matt Barnes, right?
Yeah.
Getting in a lot of trouble with his fiance.
So I had seen that on social media.
Yeah.
An old person's way of saying, I think it was
saying that it happened.
It may have happened. I don't know.
Well, she's just claiming that he cheated on her in 1 month with like 8 different women. But I wanted to go back to this idea of takes and virality and just throw it out to you. Have you ever thought of doing the Shannon Sharp method to get some more eyeballs on you, going live, beat some cheeks?
I have been dismayed by how little investigation there has been into the Shannon Sharp story.
Into Unk.
What are you trying to find out?
How many?
They found the woman.
Well, allegedly.
The lover.
The paramour.
Yes.
I just want to know truly how many steps it takes to accidentally go live on Instagram.
Totally. Yeah.
I think
Crazy.
like 2 buttons.
Really? Let's
Okay,
do
you got to open your phone.
All right, Pablo, get naked.
Instagram.
I'll start moaning.
Okay, you go to Instagram, you go to post, and then you hit live. Oh shit, am I live? No.
That's what Shannon Sharp
And then you just hit a button.
Yeah, but why would he be on Instagram if he's getting intimate? You should be in your photo app. If you're trying to take flicks or vid.
Yeah.
You know?
What I am merely suggesting is that
Inside job.
there are incentives. There are incentives, economic and otherwise,
Mhm.
to having something like that come out. I'm not saying that he definitely, jet fuel, melt steel
Right.
beams a sex tape,
He was knocking down a tower of a different kind.
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
But I'm just saying we took all this at face value.
Right.
And so have I considered, relatedly, self-releasing my own audio sex tape?
Oh yeah.
Just to see, right?
And,
Just to see if we
It's a
can get some
scientific theory.
eyeballs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Well, look, you can do that now because you work for a progressive, independent company.
that's right.
Not really such was the case when you worked at a little outfit up in Bristol, Connecticut called ESPN.
The worldwide leader.
By Disney at that point, imagine.
Always and forever.
Yeah.
At this point. Yeah.
Mickey Bucks, baby. What was the best part about working for ESPN? And what was the worst part?
So being
worst part was you couldn't come on throwing fits.
that's right. So
we were chatting
that's
years ago, and you're like, I can't, bro. I work for
So
the fucking
I will get fired.
So the distinction was being full-time at ESPN. And I still do PTI
Right.
and Around the Horn.
when you're
but
stoned.
And we
but
love that.
Allegedly, while
Allegedly.
I am,
yeah.
very, very high. But being a full-timer at ESPN, the greatest thing was that you would walk into any Disneyland or Disney World and they would say, "Hello, cast member,"
wow.
when you walked in.
So you're on the same level as Goofy?
Correct. Correct. I was
Rats and goofies. Dude.
I was among my people. I would walk in and it was like me and the guy who, is
He plays Gaston.
the backup Gaston.
right.
Yes.
The
absolutely.
understudy.
Was that like, did you flex on your daughter? You're like, yeah, fucking.
Yeah, did she get the
Welcome to
Did
Daddy's
she get that
world.
big perk? Speaking of perks.
We haven't broken the seal on Disney.
No.
She was too young at that point, but I have given, you get like,
So were you a Disney adult? Is that what I'm getting? You're like, you and your wife would go to Disney
no,
without sans kids?
So I would go with my friends who are Disney adults.
Oh, you
but
should cut those people out of
I
your life.
would never be. A
Yeah,
Disney
no, for
adult.
sure not. Yeah.
Right, dude. I don't like Star Wars. That's for fucking nerds.
Did you do
dude.
the around the world shit where you like have a drink at every country?
Epcot style?
We did not, but I have, because of them, I've become familiar with like the whole lore.
Oh, because of them, totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
The lore of
like,
Disney, the anti-Semitism, the frozen head, like that shit?
like Club 33.
What is
What's
that?
Club
Oh
33?
my
Are you at liberty to disclose?
Club 33 is a private club, an inner sanctum, if you will, inside of Disneyland, at least in LA, that you can only access if you have like been accepted into this tiny group of elites. And so there's a private restaurant. There's a whole.
Little
Google
St.
it.
James? This is Little St. James type shit? There's a lot of kids around. It's Disney World.
I don't know what happens in Club 33. All I know is that
What
it
happens
is-
stays in Club 33.
It's a goal.
Yeah.
It is
Right.
the dream of every Disney adult.
You must be this tall to enter Club
Yeah.
33.
Speaking of the inner sanctum, when you were at ESPN, who was like the most fun person to like hang out with? Like, who's a good time?
Who's the best get a beer with
Yeah.
coworker?
Jalen Rose.
Oh,
we saw him in Vegas.
at the Super Bowl.
He's
last
the
year.
mayor of any town he
Really?
Oh, he fucking
walks
rules.
into.
He was
dude.
wearing at a pretty insane fit. His fits are pretty
Head
out
to
there.
toe, red
like dark
Gucci
glossy red.
tracksuit.
Yeah, and then
Love
like
it.
sunglasses, like big
Yeah.
aviator sunglasses with
Yep,
red-
hairline measured with a protractor.
Dude.
Yeah,
Spray painted on Carlos Boozer style.
Jalen would buy lunch multiple times a week for everybody who worked in the seaport.
Mm.
So deeply generous and knew the value of like a locker room that was well fed.
Oh,
right?
totally.
So number one. But number two, you'd go to like Toronto for All-Star Weekend, and Jalen played for the Raptors at one point. But like I walked into a restaurant and he was like behind the bar, like
That's
taking
sick.
photos, just like being the unelected leader of any establishment he walks into.
That's a great coworker.
Being good at fame is a skill.
yeah.
Like and Charles Barkley might be the best of all time at it in
Mm.
terms of like, I know I'm being watched. I know people are trying to get photos with me all the time. I know that the women of San Antonio probably hate my guts.
Yeah.
But to make everybody you encounter feel like they're getting a special
Mhm.
private sort of encounter.
So this is like the Bill Murray thing.
Yeah. I mean,
Where like
so-
no one's gonna believe you, and then he just gives you the
right. Gives you a
memory
noogie
of
on the
lifetime.
subway and then
Yeah.
disappears.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley and Jalen Rose are really, really good.
You've hung out with Chuck?
I have, but at All-Star Weekend, which is like, so the secret of All-Star Weekend being terrible as a television product is that behind the scenes, it's always fun. Because the entire NBA world, the entire basketball business descends on a city.
A lot of women would agree with you.
And it's I mean, there is some, by the way, like the time that they did All-Star Weekend in Las Vegas, I was not there, but I would go cover fights, like boxing stuff in years since. And all the cab drivers would talk about All-Star Weekend in Vegas like they're a medieval peasant that watched a dragon burn down there. They would be horrified and tell these tales of like how so the point being that it's a giant party. It's nicknamed Black Thanksgiving. Like that's the other name for it historically. It's the stuff that happens after the event.
Right.
And in that setting, you can hang out with Charles Barkley and he will make you feel like you are very important.
You ever hit a buffet with Chuck? It's got to be pretty.
San Antonio style.
I have not, but I did have in Vegas an all-time buffet experience.
Just in general.
Well, so a friend of mine is this guy, Jeff Ma, a fellow Asian elite. Jeff Ma is otherwise known as the actual Asian guy who was on the MIT blackjack team.
Okay.
That inspired the movie and the book, Bringing Down the House.
Yeah.
And so Jeff is banned from playing blackjack.
Every casino.
But what he can do is like apparently sit next to me and just tell me what to do.
Oh, wow.
So we did that.
Seems like a overlooked loophole.
It looked... I was worried. I was worried and not sure that this would actually result in me leaving.
Maybe a casino's just racist and they think he's just another Asian guy.
So speaking of that, though, what happens is it turns out like in Vegas at these casinos, in the back rooms, there are Chinese buffets that are catering to the ultra wealthy whales.
Wow.
And all we had to do was walk in and be Asian.
Right.
Nobody
Yo,
asked.
that's a whale. That's a whale.
Yeah.
That checks out.
I think Jeff may have like held a bunch of cash in his hand and I just like followed nervously.
Right in the wake, as we've said.
But
of the whale.
A through line in this episode is me just following people who are more
tall,
influential,
Chinese,
richer,
Paul Rudd,
generally
famous.
wealthier. And there is a
sneakers.
secret high-end Chinese buffet that's open like 24 hours.
That sounds like a dream.
You survey this and it's just like sleeping Chinese millionaires in suits, just like scattered.
Taking a little quick breather before hitting the tables.
And the buffet is incredible.
Dude, that's...
Yeah.
Yo, we need next time we're in Vegas, I'll follow you and we'll see if we can pull this off.
Yeah, I'll pull Lawrence from spilling beer into the roulette wheel.
We had a good time.
Which happened.
But we were also macro dosing mushrooms because it was helping our gambling. So,
just watching TikToks like, wait, no, I think we're supposed to go up the middle here.
Just menaces.
Dude. You ever hit a strippy with any NBA players? Because that's got to be quite an experience.
I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
That's like seeing, Michelangelo paint the Sistine Chapel.
There is a whole David Attenborough aspect, honestly, of just like seeing an
ecosystem
unfold.
This is what you studied, bro.
But I have been, I haven't been to a strip club with an NBA player, but I have been in Miami at like a nightclub watching Dante Culpepper.
Oh my God.
Just make the rounds.
Dude.
So you just like notice like
Dante Culpepper.
This is not a story in which you feel better for Dante
NFL
Culpepper.
2K, whatever.
Is this like this happened recently, or this was like when he was in the league?
No, this was retired Dante Culpepper.
Yeah,
maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
He was working as a busboy, or
it was confusing why we were perpetually encountering Dante Culpepper.
Right.
But it was just like
he's the boogeyman of Miami.
It felt absent him being actually lost and looking for his friends, which maybe that happened. It just felt like it's where you go as a retired athlete to feel like you're still in the game.
You're still on the cover of NFL 2K, whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Damn.
Has Dante Culpepper making the rounds, clearing tables at 11? Is that like the saddest you've seen a retired player? Because for us, it's who do we see? We saw Ric Flair just fucking comatose at a steakhouse in Chicago, just like he's sadly shoveling steak. And his drink of choice was a red wine and Red Bull.
The Italian car bomb.
And then anytime someone asked for a photo, he'd perk up, be like, woo, and then go back to just like drooling and putting.
I had a different read on it. He seemed quite content.
He seemed very sad.
If not completely.
Very sad and very brain dead.
Yeah.
So I have 2 stories that reminds me of. One is learning that Marshawn Lynch used to drink a shot of his own design that was called Patrinacy. and it's what you imagine it to be.
Right.
Patron and Hennessy.
Yeah.
That's sort of the recipe.
Pretty good. You should trademark that.
The Brown Hulk.
We want to find something out. Who is the bigger diva, Tony Kornheiser or Michael Wilbon?
Ooh. Tony Kornheiser, I invited him to my wedding.
Oh,
He agreed to come.
Uncle Tony.
And
He did show up.
okay,
And what he said was, I'm going to leave at 9:30.
awesome.
And he left at 9:29.
Wow.
Oh, a man of his word.
Yeah.
So the best, like he's my personal GOAT.
What did he get
Um,
off the registry?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he got us anything. He
What
got us
the fuck?
He got us his presents. He got us his presents.
Yeah. And did he
He
Irish
wore a black tie. It was a black
wow.
tie event.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very fancy.
Nice.
And he showed up. No, and he shook me and my wife's hands, gave us a hug, and left.
And that's not Irish exiting because he told you.
Correct. That's just a straight up Tony Kornheiser exit, which is I told you I was leaving, and I'm leaving.
That's awesome.
Bye.
Shout out your go, and a lot of people's go. Tony.
Well, hey,
is
he has a
correct.
year. I don't know if you got married within the last year, but he has a year to get you a wedding present. Which I think you got married like 8 years ago or something. So,
I'll
Tony
text him.
Kornheiser,
I will text him.
the clock is ticking.
That's incredible.
What's something about Tony Reali that might surprise people?
Ooh, Tony Reali wore black leather pants to my wedding.
What? That's the most Italian shit I've ever heard of. Italian black tie is leather.
He and no one. He was the MVP of the wedding reception
How so?
because he was dancing with every woman over the age of 50.
Oh, dude, perfect Italian man.
Does he have a type? And is it MILF?
A woman over 50. A Filipino woman over 50.
The type is anybody who can match his energy level, which turns out to be the woman who's holding the iPad filming my wedding.
Wow. Wait, you hired an iPad to film your wedding?
Oh, someone wielding an iPad? Come on, dude.
By hire, I think it's more accurate to say welcomed my mom's friend who I didn't know,
Right.
who was taping the whole thing.
They say you get married
on
for your
iPad.
parents. It's for your parents.
There were a lot of older Filipino people that I was very glad to have at the event that I did not
Right.
quite.
What did he
No
wear to accompany to match the leather pants? What was his top?
Up top, it was like standard black tie,
The leather pants.
but
So it's kind of a black tie mullet.
yeah.
yes,
Party down below.
The Tony Reali difference.
the black tie Staten Island mullet. Yes.
Shout out Reali, dude.
Pablo, we got to ask you, in your lifetime, we're all about the same age here. What's your Mount Rushmore of sports moments that you've witnessed?
Oh, in person.
Yeah.
Or on
Linsanity.
TV.
Well, I think I can go in person because
Okay.
I
You've seen a bunch. You've seen it all.
So Linsanity at the Garden, 30 at
Yeah.
the Garden, number one. Number two, I was at so Game 7, Warriors, Cavs.
Oh,
It's the block.
wow.
It's all that shit. I had absolutely
Crazy.
eaten a number of blueberry chocolate covered edibles.
Incredible.
Witnessing that block, witnessing LeBron James play that game while high was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so
I
happy for you.
transcended
Yeah.
this mortal coil.
Do you watch it on TV and replay and you're just like, it's not as good, not high?
It's hard to replicate the feeling
Yeah.
of
That must have been
communing with the basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was an out of body.
Yeah, you'll never get that serotonin back, brother.
It was just like sometimes when you feel so the through line there, by the way, is that the Linsanity thing in that when it feels like the main character in the story is you,
Yeah.
Right.
where it's like this is about me. Like I get to the universe is orienting itself, bending itself towards my entertainment and pleasure. The opposite, but also I think on the Mount Rushmore of personal sports experiences was I covered the World Cup in Brazil
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
for ESPN. One of those trips where the global security, the Disney global security people put you into a meeting and they're like, here's a video, watch this video. And it's a video off of YouTube or something where someone gets fucking shot in an ATM. They're like, don't go to the ATMs.
Produced
Yeah.
by James Dolan.
So you get like a personal security, like GPS device, like a panic button.
A tracker.
They made us do all of that shit. At some point, I went to a hotel. It was like 11 cities. I went to a hotel, and in the backyard, there was a jaguar in a cage. It's like pacing back and forth
Jeez.
without like a discernible zookeeper. That
Sure,
was
this wasn't
worrisome.
the Qatar World Cup?
Qatar has, to clear the Brazil standard.
Right.
More
They killed
big
more
cats.
people making
Yeah.
it, putting it together. At least as far as we know.
Allegedly. The bone sawing
Right.
of the region. But the event that I went to at the World Cup in Brazil was Germany 7, Brazil 1, I believe.
Oh no.
So watching that
Panic button fucking on
in
deck.
Brazil, in Sao Paulo, was, look, I didn't have a horse in that race, but holy shit.
That's crazy. That's an all-time beatdown.
Out of body in the opposite.
Yeah.
You could pick out the Nazis that fled to Brazil in the crowd, just like the old guys cheering for Germany, right?
Yeah, I believe that the Argentinians who came across the border to enjoy that one, it was a bit conspicuous.
If your Argentinian girlfriend has any German grandparents, you might want to fucking double check the 23andMe, my friend.
So that's 3. Is that 3 or 4?
That was 3. And then 4, honestly, I'll give it to the NBA All-Star game in Toronto. I just saw, when I watched the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon dunk contest.
Oh, yeah. Classic, dude.
I'm like, that's to me the greatest dunk contest of my conscious professional life. But in there, the worst, by the way, a bonus worst thing I ever attended.
Sure, yeah. Let's go.
Was as a fan when I went to Game 5 of the World Series.
When Judge dropped it.
Yeah, I bought StubHub tickets for a lot of money.
That was rough.
And rode the roller coaster of, oh my God, it's all, again, I'm the protagonist of this.
Right,
Everybody's coming in. Everybody is coming in the clutch.
We had some hope.
It was incredible.
Until the 5th.
And then Aaron Judge drops it, and then all sorts of things happen that make you feel like you're being waterboarded.
Yeah.
And that sucked.
That sucked a lot.
And you spent your own money on that. It wasn't.
I may or
you
may
weren't
not
there
have
on
expensed
assignment.
it.
Oh.
Because you know who threw out the first pitch that
Who?
night?
James Dolan?
Arguably the greatest pornography collector on planet Earth.
Oh, Hideki.
Wow.
That's why, part of why I went was to try and
Just,
Is that the best perk of the job? Is that you can expense going to watch sports?
absolutely.
You can expense like your Red Zone and MSG package.
Part of beyond that, part of what my job actually is to follow my curiosities. And so plausibly, I'm curious about quite a bit. Curious about
Does
dinner.
weed improve my performance?
Pablo's gonna find out.
We did an episode where we taste tested athlete weed brands.
Oh yeah,
With
What was
Katie
the
Nolan
best?
and Dan Soder, Gary Payton.
The glove.
Gary Payton.
Smoking on the glove pack.
Just
Yeah.
the gold standard.
Yeah.
But we absolutely expensed all of those strains.
Of course.
Magic John Stone, we expensed that. That Mike Tyson strain.
Oh,
The knockout strain.
Yeah, we
How's
expensed
that?
that.
Where the
It was-
gummies are in the shape of ears, right?
Yeah, we didn't do the gummies because that was
Yeah.
too much. But the weed was okay.
All right.
It wasn't as yeah.
Quiz about sports movies. What's on your Mount Rushmore sports movies? Cinema.
Ooh. I mean, to be a Criterion Collection snob.
Let's go, baby. That's why I'm here.
Like Raging Bull.
Woo. The cinematography.
Black and white, De Niro.
Pesci.
Yes, just violence depicted artistically.
Domestic violence.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah, I mean,
Specifically.
yeah.
Yes,
He was a rager. A real rager.
correct. I think I'm going, again, the critics pick, I'm going Raging Bull. But the movie that I still, by the way, Field of Dreams, I never really got in. Are you guys, you guys have
It's
genuine
been-
nostalgia for?
No. I like the natural. I prefer the natural.
I thought the Field of Dreams field that they
Yes.
played a game and that was cool.
That was awesome.
We did an episode with Mike Schur, who attempted to create a Field of Dreams series for Hulu, in which he rebuilt an entire baseball field in Iowa.
Did they come?
Did they?
Did Hideki Matsui come?
If you build it, they will bust. Did he get picked up? Did the series get picked up?
The show was canceled in production.
Nah.
But there is this field that just exists, this high-end baseball field.
But that's not where they play the Field of Dreams game at?
Correct.
Or-
Different.
it's just- so there's two.
There are two fields in Iowa, presumably, that are.
I'd rather watch Angels in the Outfield than Field of Dreams.
Yeah, I to me, my nostalgia, Rookie of the Year.
Rookie of the Year is awesome.
I enjoy.
We're of that age.
Fucking
for
what's his
sure.
name? Gary Busey, baby.
Wait,
Right? Is Busey in Rookie of the Year is a kid who pitches for the Cubs
Yeah,
with the
Gary
arm.
Busey plays Rocket,
oh, you're
the
right.
grizzled veteran that
You're right.
may or may not have fucked the kid's mom, who turns out was the actual GOAT pitcher. It
Yeah.
wasn't his dad.
Damn.
It's like that riddle. Yo, dad takes his son to the hospital and the surgeon goes, I can't operate on him. He's my son.
Right.
Oh, it's the mother was the surgeon.
Pablo Torre found that one out.
She was standing on a block of ice.
The mother was the pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The murder weapon was an icicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
God.
What other movies? You're missing I think of one that this pod would agree goes on this list. It takes place in Miami. It is a football movie. And they scratch and they claw for every inch.
Oh, I mean, look, any given Sunday,
someone's eyeball pops out.
Lawrence Taylor.
I appreciate that. So one of my favorite things an athlete has ever said, retired or active, was when Ray Lewis gave a speech that culminated in how football games prevented, quote, what we call crime.
A murderer said that.
So,
alleged.
But when you meet enough football players, you realize that there is like a Shakespearean drama that they are waiting, a monologue they're all waiting to deliver.
Football players specifically.
Yes. Because they might plausibly die.
Yeah. Booby don't lift.
Counterpoint, Marvin Harrison, man of few words, also an alleged murderer.
I'm not going to weigh in on that.
The Al Pacino speech in Any Given Sunday, if you're at the afters, you do Linsanity into that. Oh my goodness.
1-2 punch.
All-timer.
The inches we need are everywhere around us.
Yeah.
It's also Hideki Matsui knows how to get those inches.
Oh, yes,
Hideki Matsui, just like Willie Beeman, keeps him creaming, dude.
Yeah. All right. Is that on your Mount Rushmore? We got Rookie of the
Any Given
Year.
Sunday's on there.
Any Given Sunday.
Raging Bull.
Raging Bull.
How did Cool Runnings age?
I don't know.
Probably pretty well.
Based on a true story? Is it?
Yes. Yes.
There's a Jamaican bobsled
Fuck
team.
the Swiss.
Wagwan, me brother.
Eins Flyns. Mighty Ducks.
Oh,
so D2.
Rudy.
So
D2.
D2.
So I just
Knuckle puck, baby.
D2 caused me to buy rollerblades.
Ooh.
wow.
You know everyone fucks with the Lithuania 92
The
tie-dye jerseys?
Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
style
What about the
thing.
Trinidad and Tobago jerseys in D2?
Yes.
Those are
flames.
Yes.
sick.
Yes.
Is that Greenland, Iceland? Is that one D2? Or that the
Greenland
Junior
has
Olympics?
lots of ice.
Yeah, okay.
Let's
Right.
go shake the Hans.
Yeah.
Um,
Great villains.
but Keenan Thompson, like
Oh,
whomst among us did not try to shoot a knuckle puck
Oh,
Come on, dude.
and then realize this
Physics.
Yeah.
doesn't quite add up.
Yeah.
But D2 might be. I think D2 is the movie that left the biggest imprint on me at the time.
You and a
of
generation
watching
of people,
Yeah.
for sure.
Woo woo,
Bash-
Kenny Woo.
Yeah.
Woo, Kenny Woo, bro.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
The Bash Brothers.
Yes. Dean Portman.
Who's that?
One of the Bash brothers.
Okay.
Dean
Oh.
Portman.
Julie the Cat
Gaffney.
Gaffney.
Yeah.
Hans, the
Where are they in the
Coach-
Four
Coach
Nations Cup?
Bombay's-
Yes, his Nordic
Who the fuck was that guy?
coach guy who had a twin brother.
Yeah.
Was just sharpening blades up in Finland?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Deus Ex
Speaking of
Machina for you.
movies, Pablo, do you consume Barstool sports content?
On social, I
Yeah.
do. I pay attention.
What do actual sports journalists think of Dave Portnoy?
I think he is a terrifying figure who can summon an army
Yeah.
to
Weaponizing
either, to boost
social
a meme
media.
coin, to
Yeah.
attack your friends, to
Mhm.
weigh in. Like, I think that in the way that, like, and this is a compliment, honestly, like, I think of him the way I think of Trump, which is he's really compulsively watchable.
Yeah. Facts.
And you guys work there, right?
Yeah.
What's
Yes.
yours? So what's
He's
so,
a more normal guy in person.
Well, this was also
per my
like
experience.
7 years ago. You know, he's definitely maybe turned the corner.
Let the record reflect.
Yeah.
sure.
Maybe 5 years ago. But I'm saying, like,
but who's counting?
yeah, you know, this is before Barstool, I think, really
They
became
just
like
moved
the
to New York.
cultural force that it is
Sure.
now, and that he has become like the cult of personality and like personality that he is now.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he's like now. We don't know what he's like now.
Yeah.
Richer. He's much
Richer.
richer.
Definitely richer.
Yeah,
Look, I think that with him,
he has sex like Craig Biggio,
That's right. Stanced. My man was stanced up.
like this, you know, just Shannon sharpening his way like Craig
Yeah,
Biggio.
he pulled an unk on that one.
I think
For sure.
he is like he's living in the right era.
Yes.
Oh, he was born in the right era for sure.
Like everything that I see him getting into, I'm like, yes, he would be good at that. He would be good at crypto, sports gambling, creating reality television
Yeah.
out of a crew of otherwise, like in a different era.
Oh, for sure.
What Barstool's figured out is what I think everybody is trying to do, which is how do you get people to consume your shit because they're invested in you as a character.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go and create a contest in which you guys are, shooting free throws for 24 hours, but because you're invested in these characters, so look, the strategy of like what he's built, I respect.
Yeah.
The stuff he actually chooses to weigh in on and support and attack, I'm like, not for me.
Right. Yeah. Opt
Not
out.
for me. And at the same time, I also understand that like,
It's entertainment.
It's professional wrestling.
So what he's figured out, again, in the Trump way, I'm like, look, have I watched more pizza reviews than my politics would suggest? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was a morbid curiosity to like, what is this? Why am I enjoying this despite everything else I know about this guy?
He puts asses in seats and slices in gullets, man. He saved how many fucking small businesses?
Look, I'm not even gonna fact check whatever he's doing. I'm just saying, like, I will click. And then hopefully seek some sort of spiritual atonement on a podcast with 2 of his former employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As you have. Are you yourself? Are you good at sports or are you 100% nerd?
I am probably 90% nerd.
Okay. Do
Which
you play anything at Regis?
I retired in 8th grade after playing CYO basketball, Catholic Youth Organization basketball. I was the captain of a varsity sport in high school, the varsity
Math team?
Debate team.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Champion. Okay.
That's right. New
You're
York
a
State
master
champions.
debater.
New York State champions.
You get like a Letterman jacket for that?
We did not, although I did call our debate coach,
Nice.
and I still do to this day.
That's cool.
They haven't made any movies about debate teams, have they? I guess like Spotlight.
Stand and deliver?
I
don't know.
I think there's room for the culture of.
What about a spelling bee movie? That'd be sick.
Well, has there been a good doc? There's been a good.
I think there's been
Oh,
a
yeah,
30,
yeah,
I think
for
there's been a
sure.
30 for 30 on that. As a 30 for 30s mini or something.
Broke.
Yes, that's right.
A Pablo Torre joint.
Yeah, what's it like to have a movie, a documentary called Broke named for your work?
Yeah, bro. That's another L for you.
Yeah. So Billy Corbin, who directed that, who's also done Cocaine Cowboys
Oh,
and
nice.
You, and he's amazing.
A sunny place for shady people.
That's right. The first time I joined ESPN. The first thing I worked on was Broke. The story I did for Sports Illustrated was, I think, the most popular story on SI.com, which spoke less to my like journalistic revelations, although maybe you could argue there were some. It was mostly that people wanted to click on this shit.
You put a guy in jail, dude. You're a snitch. He deserved it.
I hope that guy does not listen to this show.
Oh, he does.
And I hope
He hates you.
I hope he's not out of jail.
He probably, I wonder, it was a felony conviction, right?
Yeah. So this guy who ran this company, Trade and Financial, the reporting in the story like resulted in him going to prison because he was scamming athletes.
You don't keep tabs
among
on him?
others.
Yeah, he's your number one op, dude.
Fuck.
Or you're his number one op.
I've been misranking my ops.
Yeah. Who was formerly your number one op before this guy that's going to come kill you?
So it was Vivek Ramaswamy.
Oh, yeah.
We can all
Mr.
agree.
Pick Me Loser himself.
Speaking, just somebody who is trying to be a real American while also occasionally revealing that he mostly condescends and has no respect for the audience that he's cultivating.
When you were classmates with him at Harvard, was he wearing oversized shoes then to give the false impression that he has a giant cock?
A hammer.
I wasn't paying attention so much to the shoes. I was paying attention to the way that he would raise his hand in class, which was in the shape of a V.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Can you?
No,
can
it
you-
was like this. It was like a.
Was it for like the Vex turn?
That's personal branding, dude.
Vex got
101.
something to say.
He was that, but
Why do you bully his ass?
he was. So Vivek Ramaswamy, beyond being a guy who in college was rapping,
That's right.
he
was he
had a
raping?
rap.
He was rapping.
He was definitely rapping.
Yeah.
But he it was his alter ego was called Davek.
Oof.
So when
kinda
you see
hard.
that video of him, rapping Eminem at the
Yeah.
Iowa caucus or whatever,
Yep.
like it came from a place of years and years and years of doing that.
What a loser.
So you must be loving the public fucking downfall.
As much as I can, while also recognizing that he's only become more influential.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that him getting like basically defenestrated out of the White House,
The
and
administration,
Doge, and now like running for governor in Ohio, I
Mhm.
have enjoyed. Because the whole thing he did with the H-1B visa stuff, which is a brief recap, was simply that he accidentally revealed his true feelings.
Yeah.
And he was like, American
Whoopsie.
culture worships the quarterback and the prom king. And he said one of the most insane things a
Yeah,
politician has ever
full
said,
nerd.
which is that we didn't respect Urkel enough.
Yeah, dude.
We were a nation of Stefan
Urkels.
stands. Stefan
Yeah.
Urkel stands.
Yeah.
And he didn't say by, again, he also totally misread what Boy Meets World was about.
He did perjure himself though as like a no pussy getting nerd, which you can't do. No one wants to have a beer with that guy. We want to fucking give that guy a swirly. We don't want to fucking buy him a beer.
And for those reasons, he was kicked out of the current
by
administration.
another nerd.
No losers allowed in the White House.
Yeah.
Because he went against, I mean, again, as much as he's now like showing up at sporting events conspicuously, courtside, shaking hands, like the guy said publicly that we care too much about sports in America.
Yeah.
And we need more immigrants to be good at math and science, which again, I get, but also you are, one of these people is the real you.
You don't say that. You don't say that when you're
Come on,
in
dog.
politics. Did you ever hang out with Zuck?
I was the 199th person to join Facebook.
Congrats.
Did you vote on that when it was a hot or not thing? Did you vote?
Oh yeah, dude.
No, but Priscilla
You respect
Chan-
all women.
Yes, and one of the women who I respected, I haven't talked to her in forever, was his wife, Priscilla Chan, who lived in my freshman dorm,
Oh, nice.
which is why I joined. And the only reason I know I was 199 was because the URL for your profile was the number you joined the site back when there were like 500 people who were on it.
Are you and Zuck Eskimo bros? That'd be sick.
Hey yo.
Confidently, the answer is no.
Okay.
You wrote while at Harvard. You wrote your thesis on child murderers. You must have been very fun at parties.
Yeah. I was waiting for you guys to bring up my
The thesis?
thesis.
What was more painful, researching the murder of children or the fits at Harvard?
There was a point during the Harvard like academic calendar where before finals everyone would go streaking.
Yeah.
So when you mentioned like fits, like the most notable thing about like wardrobe was that most everybody, I didn't. There are no photos of this, just in case you were wondering.
Although you are very comfortable on the penis.
Correct. No
You grew up around
insecurity
it.
at all.
Yeah.
Right.
But it would be all the Harvard students, streaking, throwing off their clothes, and then all of the tourists photographing them.
Mm.
That sounds illegal.
You would think so.
Sounds like something Hideki Matsui would love.
Yeah.
His favorite genre of porn is just
Nubile street.
It's just Harvard
Harvard
teens.
streakers before finals.
So you don't remember the quality or lack thereof of the fits.
Oh, no.
You're thinking of the complete lack thereof.
But in terms of like fashion, like I did. So I grew up again, like all boys Catholic school, all scholarship school, nerd school in New York City.
Yeah, but also you grew up as a city kid, right?
and so when I got to
Listen to rap, like being in the fucking cultural center of the world.
Hitting up
liking-
Yellow Rat Bastard with James.
Yeah.
So what I got a taste of, which I didn't really know before, was what it meant to be like an elite WASP.
Mm.
So these like private final clubs, the social clubs at Harvard, like when I remember I was in a creative writing class with somebody who was, I believe, on a lacrosse team.
Mhm.
And I had no idea what these clubs were, but he punched me for them, which is to say he brought
Oh.
me into one of these events, like the most lax,
Yeah.
literally most lacrosse,
Yeah. Cover your,
Yeah.
Heavy.
do one of these, bro.
heavy finals club.
Cover your drink.
I just remember encountering, like these kids all went to boarding school.
Right.
This is what, and so that whole again, I've since become genuinely like interested and impressed in some ways by like the whole like the Take Ivy sort of like
Yeah.
you know like it
Oh, look,
originated on these campuses.
it's the Winklevosses.
Yeah. The Winkle
So
Vibe.
one of the first people I interviewed as a sports writer at Harvard was the Winklevi because
that's
they
right.
were heavyweight crew. Yes, like
They were
world-class
Olympians.
rowers. Yes.
Olympians.
What was it like to? What was it like?
My instincts for where their lives would go were clearly not good enough. I was just like, I think the story I wrote was like about how their crew team was the greatest generation in like college crew. They were like really fucking good.
But they didn't even medal at the Olympics when they represented the United States.
Is that right?
Also, I was
and
going to say,
they fucked it at that whatever the Gallant or whatever in the UK.
I was going to say, how
How do you
accurate
guys-
is
you
how
guys
accurate
have-
is The Social Network? My favorite movie.
Yeah,
Is it
it's a
accurate?
It's a documentary.
Yeah,
It's
that's true.
it is spiritually
Yeah, it's perfect.
the
movie.
most perfect film.
I'm a creep.
That's only in the trailer. It's only in the trailer. You're talking about the Henley Regatta. Is
Yes,
when
that's right.
They lose to
Henley.
It's the closest race I've ever seen.
We lost to Jamaica.
Yes. Call back.
I love that movie. Various boring inaccuracies, but they get it right.
Yeah.
Is there a
That was
Pablo Torre character?
they caught the vibe on in Crime Bridge.
I believe that again, what the Facebook was really about, which was a deeply power hungry and spectral would-be captain of industry,
No pussy getting motherfucker.
not getting enough pussy and creating a site that would allow such things, and then getting into a blood feud with the people he founded the company with. That I mean, directionally, they got all of that pretty much dead on.
Let me leave you with the best piece of advice you're going to get in the show. The Pablo Torre show, drop the. It's cleaner. Yes!
Well, look, obviously your sense of fashion did not necessarily wasn't percolating at Harvard per se, or maybe it was percolating, but our mutual homie and your producer Rob, YC,
Yeah.
he clued us in on your Cookie Monster ass Bode cardigan. when did that become? What was the process of making that your signature piece on the show?
So I needed something that I could interview like the executive of a $1 billion franchise wearing. I could do that. Also just leave in a closet like Mr. Rogers to change into when I walk into the office. And so Lawrence has seen this.
Yes, I have.
I take it out of the closet, I put it on, and
No, we're trying to find the price points we can embarrass you publicly.
yeah, it's Rob has betrayed.
When you put him on your everyman journalist shit.
Yeah, real Mr. Rogers.
print media isn't
gentrifying the
responsible
neighborhood.
for why. Yeah, I've.
But so this
wearing
is is it like your cape? Is it like your Superman cape?
Yeah. No,
Security
yes.
blanket or Superman cape? Because you know the price point.
It's a security blanket more than anything else. It's also something that allows me to like think less. I'm genuinely curious. I had this thought coming over here, like how much time. So again, the Zuckerberg thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Fuck you,
That's it.
flip flops.
Yeah.
But like
You left
this-
his prod at the cleaners.
But like that whole thing of paralysis by analysis, like he's cut out. This is the Silicon Valley thing. You guys, I imagine, when it comes to calculating the time you've spent on an every. So how long does it take?
It's innate.
Yeah,
bro.
but
0
that
seconds.
time would have otherwise been spent fucking gooning out like Hideki. So it's like, and versus getting the creative neurons firing, right? Thinking about like, it's like Zach Galifianakis or that fucking gif where it's like all the the Hangover. It's like literally the dozens, if not hundreds, of articles of clothing that we could put on, like creating the singular permutation that only works for this exact and only moment in space and time.
That's why you're always getting high, dude. Time wasted is not wasted time. My friend.
There it is.
So in other words, for me, like having a
your
very
go-to.
expensive blue cardigan that can sort of plausibly be worn with any vaguely white, black, or gray t-shirt underneath, I'm like, this helps me. But yeah, please don't Google how expensive that is.
No, definitely not. What about like, gotta ask you this. Obviously you're a Fitzman, you're a ball knower. It feels like the current intersection of sports and fashion has both simultaneously never felt more prevalent, but also more seemingly forced.
Yes.
Transactional.
How do you feel about like tunnel fits and collaborations and like all that shit?
So I have two big takes about this. One is that I miss Pat Riley on a sideline.
Oh, in the Armani and the Good George.
Like, just go back and see what he was wearing.
Yeah. He was sponsored by Giorgio Armani.
So
The first of its kind, I believe.
So the fact that we have all of these guys wearing quarter zips,
Careful now.
beyond the specific uniformity of it.
This is Margaret Howell.
As if that means anything to Pablo.
What I miss is fashion as an expression of personality.
Deion Sanders, Pat Riley.
You're making, again, to the whole point, you're making a choice.
Yeah.
And so Pat Riley is saying something about himself. How these guys,
braids.
look at fucking Hubie Brown, okay? How that guy used to dress. He was avant-garde in the 70s.
Like Steve Harvey was avant-garde.
But like some of the stuff these guys used to wear would be startling because now we don't get a sense of who these guys really are.
Right.
And so
it's like, hey, this is how much money I make.
I think that a coach who dresses in any way adventurousness. I want to know. I want to know who in the NBA coaching fraternity might plausibly listen to this podcast.
I don't know. All of them.
Maybe
Only champions.
Yeah, maybe an assistant coach.
But the other thing, I was going to ask you guys this. Do you judge a player? Do you think differently if you know that a player has a stylist?
I mean, I think we respect any celebrity that, and I think it definitely shows when whether for better or for worse, they are dressing themselves.
Yeah.
Versus just like having a stylist be like, hey, put this on. When it's like Travis Kelce, and that's the other thing is like, now that, I mean, there was this tweet, but I fucking talked about it at who's like the Buffalo Bills receiver that came in wearing like the animal.
Stephon Diggs?
No. He's the guy that goes barefoot.
Matt, God. He went to
My bad.
Carolina, Matt Collins.
Yeah. And I was like, does he have to go home wearing that Muppet mask? And someone said that about Travis Kelce, where it's like, I know he feels like an asshole going home in that glittery red
Amiri
disco suit,
Yeah.
Amiri
Right.
suit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think like, I don't want to speak for Lawrence, but I think that if an athlete or celebrity dresses themselves and does a decent job of it, it at least shows personal expression and style a lot more than just what clearly having a stylist.
Yeah.
Being like, hey, here, this brand paid you to wear this, put this on.
For me, it's easy because there's only one real Fitzman in the world of sports. And that is what I would imagine will be, not to jinx it, future NBA MVP, SGA.
Yeah. So
Shea
I
himself.
was trying to Google this. Does Shea Gilgeous-Alexander have a stylist?
He definitely has someone who helps him with the shopping element, though I have no doubt he loves to shop. You just don't have the time. So they will help you with like, and a guy
Yes.
like Rocky or, I'm sure Tyler, even to some extent, maybe not so much Tyler because he really seems like he cares so much. But if you don't have the time, someone's going to help you with the style out, give you some photos.
Absolutely.
There was just a great article in GQ today about how Rocky kind of did this with his stylist, our friend Matthew Henson, for his trial, where it's like, yo, I got bigger shit going on, but like, I'm not going to look bad.
Right.
And it's still the difference between like wearing something and being told to wear something is
Yes.
like, you still make it your own. Even if the stylist like, yo, here's like the 4 things you got to wear. You can still like judge this and fucking fuss with that and make it your own shit.
Yes.
Accessorize.
I like to think that Kyle Kuzma chose that sweater.
Okay.
The raft joint.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? The sweater.
The sleeves.
Yes.
The uncircumcised sweater. Tebow, imagine Tebow got his hands on that
Oh my
sweater
God.
with a fucking scissor.
You need like those prop scissors they like do ribbon cutting ceremonies with.
We might have to bring in your dad for a job that big, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So look, I to me, we are at an all-time. It's just obvious that when it comes
It's also money, right? There's money at stake here, where it's like the integrating various aspects and pillars of culture into one another. There can now be like partnerships and synergies and fucking bottom lines padded out.
Yeah, and they're like architecturally, they are the perfect billboards, the perfect skeletons to wear what feels like, the most expensive clothes in the world.
Unless they're too tall.
Yeah.
Or unless they're too
they're built
too
different.
Because like a 6'2" point guard will look good. A fucking 6'5" and above
Yeah.
doesn't work.
So I did a 30 for 30 short film about this store called Friedman's in Atlanta. And it's the shoe store where every NBA player would get their shoes because they carried, the only store in the world, in America at least, that carried 13 to like 25. And so it was this place where every NBA player on a road trip to play the Hawks would stop by. And so Shaq and but the point being that
Where you
at
got to kill a whole crocodile or alligator for one shoe type shit.
genuinely, this was a store, a family-owned store that must have been the national leader in just yardage of crocodile skin.
The worldwide leader.
Yes.
The real crocodile hunter.
To make the point though that at a certain height, it's actively inconvenient to get stuff.
Gotta go
that is
custom.
made
Yeah,
for
you gotta
you.
go custom.
Yeah.
But no, we're living at an all-time. We're living during peak sports fashion when it comes to the player and the tunnel stuff. My only concern is how synthetic it does
100%. It already is.
It's all about expressing personality. Like if you,
it's a branding exercise now. It's a shame, but
is this just spawn con is always the thought I have. Like
yes, it is.
like a truly viral tweet anymore. Like because it's monetized.
Yeah.
I'm like the only true tweets that impress me because of their virality are the ones that are not
right.
monetized.
Well, the first 2 things you got to ask are: is this AI?
Mhm.
Was this staged? John Rocker, Patrick Mahomes Sr. Like that's so obviously fucking staged.
By the way,
Drake throwing the fucking slide at
I
a
know.
drone, so I was like immediately staged.
Do you think that was staged?
You can see the drone operator in the reflection of the mirror.
Oh, God damn it. I fell for it. God damn it. Big Scorpion got me again.
but the idea that Patrick Mahomes' dad and John Rocker would then go fight in a barstool sanctioned boxing
Right.
match.
I mean, that's kind of awesome.
They kind of killed that, though, literally.
What happened?
I'm saying they killed that.
Yeah. They
crushed
sold
it.
the hell out of it.
Man,
Yes.
I got my friend a John Rocker cameo, and I tried to bait him so badly, and he did not take the bait.
I bought a friend a George Santos cameo, and nothing has aged poorly more quickly. Just
That
like
costs more or less than the Bode cardigan.
less.
Speaking of things that are going to age poorly.
Yeah.
But just like the novelty was over within 5 minutes of receiving it.
Right.
Just like, oh, I am the problem.
Yeah.
That's
Actually.
the fleeting nature of the cameo as gift to some
Yeah.
extent, you know.
Speaking of cost, how much money do you make, Pablo?
Mm.
There we go.
I make good money.
How many Bode cardigans can you buy in a year?
So I own 3 of them.
Wow.
I have
the
the same-
rotation.
No, I have the blue.
Mm-hmm.
I have a navy, and I have like a maroon.
You're not joking.
thing.
You're being
no,
serious.
I have 3.
Wow.
3 of these cardigans.
You got to like tie them up like the Crip and Blood flags.
Or wear them all at the same, or wear them at the same time, like Lil Yachty on
Right.
on
Yeah.
the
Yes, on
Club Shay Shay.
God. I make enough such that I don't regret not becoming a doctor
Okay.
or
Are
a
you
lawyer,
making-
which I took the fucking LSAT. I'm so glad I didn't actually go through with that.
Are you making more than a GP right now?
What's a GP make?
General practitioner? Oh, what do they make? I don't know.
I'm competitive. I would say I'm competitive with a GP.
We'll pull that up for you so we can get an accurate figure.
A general practitioner
According to Google
in New York
AI.
City, on average, makes just a touch over $200,000 a year.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Pablito.
Come on.
Let's
but like,
go,
but
baby.
like a chief of surgeon, maybe not so much, right?
Oh, now we're okay. We're gonna try to get a range
let's
here.
Price compare.
What about partner at a law firm? That's just
chief of surgery, up to $35,000 to $671,000.
So you're in that range,
I
probably,
would
right?
say I'm probably at the level of like a really good plastic surgeon
Nice.
in a not popular city.
Okay, so whatever Tom Brady's guy's making, this guy's making.
In Cleveland, Ohio,
Yeah.
What do you
exactly.
like to, okay, besides Bode cardigans, marijuana,
Disney World.
Disney World, and your family, what do you like to spend your hard-earned money on?
I go out to eat.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's hitting right now in New York?
Look, I am lucky enough to be compromised by having people that I maybe won a Family Feud episode with. Like David Chang was on my team.
Oh,
And so,
nice.
And so I went to Noodle Bar recently, and Noodle Bar still hits, guys. Guess what? Momofuku Noodle Bar in the East Village. Still
Spoiler
great.
Yo, you got to go to
Still great.
the new
I
Momo.
know.
Although it's more of a bar with snacks.
So Co was my favorite place because of Co Bar.
Mm.
That you pull the drawers out, there'd be like hiding forks and
Yeah,
knives.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can get off of the 3-hour tasting menu. You can
Yeah.
get it up front.
Yeah.
It was the best. And so when they announced that it's closed, I was bummed. When they announced that it's reopening and they're specializing in Jamaican beef patties,
That chef is supposed to be fucking fire.
I could not be more excited. I am a patty appreciator. The bobsled team,
Right.
Yeah.
to bring it full circle here.
Yeah.
I am somebody who believes that. Oh, no, I believe that in this case, it's genuinely a guy who is not mining the culture of beef patties. Like this is,
He is Jamaican.
he is the master of that.
Yeah.
And like Hideki Matsui, you're a jerk enjoyer.
Nice. Did you were you a little bummed when David tried to fucking sue the
Chili
Chili
Crisp?
Crisp folks?
I talked to him at length about this, and I totally understood where he was coming from in the end.
Really? As a cutthroat businessman?
Because it turned again, there's a Google search here, but like the short of it is, in order to keep the license, you need to express a defense of it.
Victim blaming.
That's right.
Okay.
Got it.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it.
Must be nice to have friends in big places. A fellow podcaster, David Chang.
That's
Yeah.
right.
As a fellow podcaster, as someone making more than a general practitioner in New York City who has 3 Bode cardigans. Last time I counted, we have 0 between us.
0.
Mm.
We would love to ask you, Pablo. We'd love to find out. Does Pablo have any constructive criticism that you would like to give us?
Wow.
After 2 hours.
Yeah, I've enjoyed asking you guys questions. So
It's your job.
my constructive advice is that you guys should be like puffing your chests out more about the expertise that you have about the subjects that may seem on their face like
Don't matter.
yeah.
Things that people don't want to find out about.
No, I mean I think it's adorable that you care what I think about NBA fashion.
Yeah,
But
you're a ball knower, dude.
And I've thought about it at length.
Yeah.
And I believe that the quarter zip sorry, James.
It's okay. It's Margaret Howell diffusion line. It's Margaret Howell for broke boys.
He's wearing the Eli Manning collection.
For Lululemon.
Hey, what do you think of him getting snubbed for the Hall of Fame? That's our fucking boy.
I know, that's fucking egregious, dude.
So
It's a two-time Super Bowl MVP.
bullshit.
With the 2 hardest Super Bowl wins ever statistically.
I'm gonna tell you the most Filipino thing that I will say all day.
Yeah.
My dad's cousin was the nanny to Eli Manning's kids.
Wow. She raised greatness.
I'm just saying, my Tita Vicky may or may not be responsible for the well-being of
The future.
several scions of the Manning name.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think Eli Manning knows this.
He doesn't know his nanny's name.
No. So Tita Vicky has told me that Eli was very kind and like driving her to church on some
nice.
Sundays.
Hell
And that's
yeah.
great.
Before
He wasn't busy.
Maybe it wasn't on Sundays.
It couldn't have been. He would have been, I guess,
Maybe-
out of when he's not in season.
Sure, in the off season.
Yeah.
Maybe if he didn't drive my Tita Vicky to mass, he would be in the Hall of Fame.
He should be.
Right.
Come on, dude.
He was late to practice because of your fucking cousin.
It's a funny thing to be a media member talking about Eli Manning, knowing that your Tita Vicky.
Do you vote for any of these?
I don't have a vote for
Okay.
the Hall of Fame,
For
but
anything.
Those are two players that are good at game casting, right? The fucking
Manning
cast.
Manning
but also
cast,
like
baby.
as expertise havers and also kind of like play-by-play and color guys, like that's some entertaining shit.
I watched the Manning cast.
Over Al Roker, or not what's his name? The other guy.
Al Roker.
The other guy.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Oh, they do Monday Night now?
Yeah.
Joe Buck and Jay-Z, white Jay-Z.
So maybe the greatest journalistic accomplishment of my life was me asking Troy Aikman if he knows
Oh, that's right. That was,
that he is white Jay-Z.
And
He, quote, unquote, didn't get it.
Oh,
Like, he has heard it,
right.
but he like doesn't see it.
Did you ask before or after part of my take also asked the same thing? Do you know? Yeah. I guess, you
Was
know what it
I-
is? If you get Troy and you're a chill podcaster, you ask.
I mean, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like people should continue to ask him.
Also, Troy Aikman, underrated as a fucking Texan stickman. Apparently, he was just slaying trim throughout the 90s.
This is America's team.
And people were like, oh, he's gay because he got married. He's like, no, my man was fucking tearing it up.
being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s is
When you're good.
like
Yeah, when you're not Dak
is
Prescott.
is basically an Any Given Sunday character.
Yeah. He's creaming Troy E. Beeman, dude.
Yeah.
Something like
It's
that.
Tony Romo no homo.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, we'll keep going. Okay, so your constructive criticism is bang on our chest more.
Yeah.
Like the silverbacks of sports fashion we are.
Silverbacks of the stew.
Yeah. Look, I think that, again, I've enjoyed the interview. I just want more of your takes.
Oh.
You could, well, you one, you got to book James to fucking even the scales now. And then two, have us both on and we'll you could talk to us for as long as you want, baby.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We got nothing but time.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Should we, would it be a good, no.
That's been the show, ladies.
We could, now that you've kind of teased us.
Yeah.
with the little Matsui.
Now that I've scooped myself on your podcast.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But that's
But
going to
hey,
be a banger when it comes
Have
out.
us on.
Yeah,
for
we're
that.
always available for you, Pablo.
Goon Cave. As Goon Cave experts.
So when I had Lawrence on to do the Athlete Scent episode,
Yeah.
it made me think, is there an episode in which we are effectively taste testing, smell testing, like athlete fashion?
Brady brand.
Michael
there-
Jordan apparel from back in the day.
Who would be in that category that you would want to
Yeah.
critique or test?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think like
Like that, like a line.
that. You're not talking about like a signature shoe,
No.
or like a
I
anything
think
like that.
ideally there is like a Brady brand kind of an aspect where there is something about the product that says something about the person.
Yeah.
Well, we fuck with Brady brand. We wear Brady brand draws.
Yeah, we do.
Apparently, Ronaldo, Cristiano
Ronaldo's all over
Ronaldo,
he's all over all this.
he
Yeah.
has some shit.
Same. Maybe Westbrook had a brand at one point.
David
Probably.
Beckham had a brand. Steph Curry has a brand, right?
Oh, Curry brand.
right?
But that's like on the level of Brady brand where it's like, it's all athleisure, dude.
Right.
It's all athleisure.
right.
I mean, with that said, like we would definitely have opinions. But yeah, I don't know, man. That's your job is to figure out what
It's
we're going to
true.
find out together.
It's true.
It's
It's my job to focus the goonery.
Yeah.
focus the
Train it
lasers of
upon-
goonery.
You know what? Federer has had some stuff. I don't know if he still does with Uniqlo, and I guess he
Right.
kind of has On,
Yep.
right? He's like a founder of On.
Again, athleisure. That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
The Michael Jordan high end, like they made like loafers, not just like it was like Jordan brand, and I forget what the line was called. That actually now, because of like this Y2K moment, and how the trend cycles go, is like a cool, like if you know grail for people. Some of these footwear options that are not sneakers or hybrids of sneakers and loafers, they're very interesting.
I want to
They're Prada-esque.
I want to assign you guys to go confront Michael Jordan
Okay.
and ask him about his pants.
oh, yeah.
Does he feel vindicated?
Yeah, right. I mean,
We've come all the way back around. I mean,
Broken
again, we always
clock.
come all the way back around when it comes to
Yeah.
pant size, but like, does he take any pride in being actually
setting the trend.
now in vogue? Again?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his son doing cool drugs.
So
All
that,
right.
that was my second enemy was Marcus Jordan
Oh, why?
and Larsa Pippen. So I had them. I had Marcus and
both of them.
Larsa together on the show.
oh, shit.
And then they went and did an interview. The New York Post, there was a headline in which they called me miserable.
Wow.
They called you
Yeah.
Larsa and Marcus.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we,
Typical jock versus nerd.
I still think it's kind of underrated that Michael Jordan's son is or was dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
in some Gucci flip-flops.
this is why we did the episode. Like quietly, the most fascinating story in sports was like relegated to the tabloid
Sure.
section, but in every way, like the Game of Thrones shit about Scottie
Yeah.
Pippen post
It's
Last Dance.
weirdly incestuous.
Oh no, Scottie Pippen in the Last Dance felt so disrespected
Yeah.
by Michael Jordan, and then simultaneous to that, his ex-wife is dating Michael Jordan's fucking shithead son,
Yeah.
who then recently crashed his, I believe, a Lamborghini on a train track.
It wasn't crashed; it just got stuck on the rails.
Excuse me. It got stuck pointing the wrong direction on actual railroad tracks.
All time, do you know who my father is moment?
Yeah.
Truly, like, and I say this, knowing the weight of where we are in our country, it made me glad for body cam videos.
Say it with your chest, Pablo. Literally.
All right. On that note, Pablo Torre, where can the
Plugs.
kids follow you? What would you like to
Outro.
plug?
Pablo Torre Finds Out is the show. It's on YouTube. It's a podcast also. Please subscribe. We talk about journalistic kegels over there.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Big callback to 2 hours ago. All right. This has been another episode of The Only Podcast That Matters. Chef.
Yeah. Thank you, Pablo. We
Thank you,
grew up
Pablo.
on you, bro.
Chef.
From TV to the stew. It's amazing how far we've come and how far you've fallen.
It's an honor. It's an honor to
To have
pay
fallen
you
this far.
guys. It's an honor to pay you guys paywall premium subscription prices.
We appreciate you, Pablo, for everything you do. Chef, take us out.